everyone, to episode 132 of Balcast Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, bringing the new year, 2024 now.
Happy
My
New
co-host,
Year!
Anicor. Look, you got a couch. What is this? A different POV?
Happy
This
New
looks
Year!
like. Is this the same room?
This is the
The
same
same
room.
exact-
This is
the
not
same
the same
exact
room
setup?
as last week. This is not the same room as last week.
I mean,
This
like
is
in
the
past
same room,
episodes,
although
it looks so
um,
different. I see the
this-
couch. I see a
yeah,
table.
this would be there.
Okay, you moved it over a
Yeah.
little bit more to your
But-
left, I guess.
Sofa, dining table. I was gonna get some other stuff, but I'm like, I've only got a month and a half left, and it feels kind of pointless.
You actually look like
So-
you're not living in like a shack, like a closet,
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
wash, like a janitor washroom, like where they store their supplies.
Yeah, now storing my supplies. Yeah, but honestly,
Yeah.
it was so annoying.
Why did you
'cause,
get
like,
it for just a month though? At that point, it's not even worth it.
I know, but at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna get a lot of value out of it. It barely cost me anything because I got it off like Marketplace.
Why
And
didn't you do
honestly,
this
since
a
I've
year
had-
ago, I don't
I
understand.
know. Honestly, like as soon as I got it, I was thinking that I was just like, oh, I could have really did this earlier, but
Yeah,
is what it is
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
better late
It's-
than never. But I really
Exactly,
thought
yeah.
I really thought you were going to be a never kind of guy.
No. Honestly, I love this couch. Also, it's pretty good. So I basically got it for free. I had to pay for like someone to deliver it to me.
Okay.
It's an IKEA thing, but also my biggest issue and the reason I didn't get a couch earlier is because I don't like certain types of secondhand furniture. Yeah. So like a secondhand couch, I feel like that's a bit grimy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
You can't really trust other people. It's almost
Wait,
like buying a second.
isn't that a second-hand couch?
It is, but due to like how it was arranged, first of all, I had a really good Hoover. But second of all the like upholstery just comes off, like it zips off. So I was able to just wash everything essentially and then put it back. So that was a big thing, can't lie. Because I can't lie. I can't do second-hand couch, man. Bruv, that's like getting a second-hand mattress.
Yeah, but you pretty
Obviously
much
not as
did,
bad.
though. You did
Yeah,
do
you
it
know.
second.
I didn't get it. Yeah, no. But as in, like, if I didn't wash it, it would have been like getting a second-hand mattress. Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah. It's fine now. It's fine.
No, I'm with you there. I think those are definitely two that I can't do. Like secondhand tables, like
They're fine. You can clean
they're
them.
fine.
It's
Coffee
easy, you know.
tables, yeah, dresser drawers.
But what do you do with a
those are
couch?
fine.
Apparently, you can, them carpet cleaners.
What about a chair, a secondhand chair, like a fabric chair, like one of these chairs I'm in, like a gamer chair, kind of, right? It's not wood, it's not metal, there's fabric on it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, innit? Yeah, like if it's specifically a gaming chair, I think it's a bit questionable. I can't lie. Yeah, I don't know if I trust. I don't know if I
Gamers are
trust what
gross.
gamers do in their gaming chairs, innit? So
Well, what if they're not gamer? What if they're like a football player?
I don't know. That's really random. I don't know. Maybe
An athlete.
This is really specific. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation. That said, one of my friends, I think this was like a couple years ago, he found a Herman Miller chair just on the street. Yeah. And those things cost a lot of money, innit?
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'd have found that, I would have taken it.
Okay.
Because even if I felt like it was a bit grimy, I would have probably bought the necessary things to actually get it cleaned. So I think maybe it depends on the value and like how good it is. If it's like a high value one, then I'll put in the work.
Again,
If it's not, then maybe
you
not.
could have this sofa a year ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got a month left. So what's your plan after this year? After your visa's up, you're gonna leave. You're gonna try to apply for a visa again to come back next year. What's the situation?
I'm not completely sure yet. So basically, I'm gonna go back to London. I'm gonna be in London for at least 6 months.
Mhm.
And I guess I'll decide across that sort of time. So one thing I've decided though, and I think this was around the time I got the sofa, I was like, I want to stop moving,
Yeah.
It was so good to have my own sofa. I was like getting back from work and I was like, I'm just gonna chill on the sofa.
It's just nice to get settled,
Yeah, I know, and I haven't really had that in like years. So, um,
Well, that's by choice, though,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. But like now, I'm just like, well, maybe I should stop moving around. So maybe I pick one place.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it will be here, maybe not. I gotta say though, Australians, yeah, I know I was warned. Yeah, I know I was warned about the weather in Melbourne, but I never really understood. And I was also like, oh, December it might get better. December came and went. I was like, January it might get better. Like this is summer.
Wait,
Yeah,
what's bad about it?
bro, it's so. You know, yesterday, yeah, I got in, and then all of a sudden there was a storm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like an
The weather
actual
is
storm.
pretty wild. It is. It does go back and
It
forth
is
quite a bit.
insane. But okay, this the
People
thing
don't
is, yeah.
understand, right? Until you go to Australia, you'll know. But like the weather literally fluctuates so much within just a couple hours, not even
Bro,
like weeks or a couple of days, like within
earlier
hours.
today, yeah, I think it was around maybe 9 a.m. Yeah, it was pissing it down. Yeah, there was like I could hear the rain on the roof.
Yeah,
Now it's sunny,
it
but I
is.
don't get this place, in it. Yeah, it's just like I
It's a
don't know, the
beautiful place,
inconsistency
though.
as well.
I would
You know,
live there if
yesterday.
it's not so far from everything. It's too far from everything.
Yeah, that's another issue as well. You know, I mean, maybe not as much of another issue, but at the same time, it's
Well,
like,
for you, it's not as bad. For me, it's
yeah.
like my
Yeah, you
friends and
have to
family
be
are on
places
the
now.
other side of the world. You know,
Well, yeah,
like for
well, mine
you,
are
it's
as well.
like kind of halfway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not really. It's pretty much the
What's the
same.
time difference between there and London?
Like around 12 hours ish, maybe about 11.
No, there's no way it's 12 hours because for me it's like 15.
Nah, it is. But it's just the other way
What?
around. It's like backwards.
What? Wait, what do you mean?
So,
London
okay, so for
to
me, it's about 4 p.m. Yeah. In London, it's going to be about 5 a.m.
okay, so it's 11 hours ahead
Mhm.
for you. Oh no,
Yeah.
mine's more than 15 actually. Now I think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yours is 11-hour difference. Mine is 19 hours. Yeah, so yeah,
It's
so
mad.
so it's still you're still halfway compared to me. Anyways.
Yeah. That's true. But I mean, 19 hours is basically a day. So I think it's kind of even.
No, I'm just
I feel like that makes sense.
it's just still far away. What I'm
It
trying to
is
say.
very
You
far
know,
away.
it's
Yeah,
super
that's
far
true.
away.
That's
It's
true.
like a 15-hour flight, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
but I mean, equally, yeah, it's still far for me to go anywhere. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm reconsidering because also there's certain other places like Brisbane and Sydney where people are like, oh, the weather's a bit better there, and I'm hearing that they're flooding, and I'm like, I don't know what kind of Australia that they were showing me on the TV all my life, but it don't exist, man. It does not exist. You know them pictures of people playing volleyball on the beach, yeah? Nah,
Hmm.
bruv.
Not
Nah.
the thing.
They play that for like the 1 hour of sunshine they get per day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bruv, yesterday there was a bolt of lightning, I don't know.
Yeah, I never heard a piece of lightning
Literally
before.
the light. Wait, you've never seen lightning before?
No, I've never said anyone say piece of
Oh
lightning, like
right,
referred to
I
as
know,
a
I
piece.
didn't think I Anyway,
Yeah.
I saw the light, yeah, and it was like super intense. And a few seconds later, I hear the explosion, and it literally sounded like a bomb went off. It
Mm.
was insane, man. I was like, yo,
What was it? Did it hit anything?
I don't know. I haven't been to check. I don't think I'm too interested, to be honest. I was just
But a lot
shocked
of
that that
places have
existed.
not the best weather. I mean, Japan's a great place, but the tsunamis there and the earthquakes are
Yeah,
just
sounding mad at the moment, you know. And I don't
yeah,
know if it was
especially
today,
a
but
recent
apparently
one.
an airplane blew up.
What in Japan?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was today.
In the
Japan.
air? What do you mean it blew up? But that's not like a weather.
Yeah, it was today. Yeah, it literally burst into flames on the
What?
runway at Tokyo.
But that's not related to the weather. That's just like a
I know,
technological
but it's
failure, right?
wild.
Oh yeah, I mean that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
I mean there's
just
wild things
yeah.
that happen everywhere. Though we're talking about the weather, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's still kind of
All
nuts.
right, it's enough about this weather talk. Let's get into these YouTube
Okay.
comments. We're really talking about weather for 9
Yeah.
minutes. So the YouTube comments from last week, episode came out a little bit earlier than usual, but we want to make sure people go celebrate the holidays properly with us.
Mhm.
Omniaki said, "I expected more jelly beans. Me too. I expected more jelly beans
Yeah.
from you, especially, but you kept it together.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you kept it together.
it's one or two things, isn't it? Yeah, it's either I do what I did and barely talk, or I
Yeah.
just
You were
talk
straight
loads and then
yawning
eat the whole
halfway through.
pack.
You're like, I can't,
Yeah,
I'm stifled.
it was too much, and I didn't really want to eat the whole pack. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was smelling it for 2 days after. Yeah,
Why do your jelly beans smell so much? Mine are like, they don't smell like anything. They're
I
just
don't
in
know.
my cabinets now.
I
You
put it in
saved
my
them, right?
cabinet as well.
Yeah.
Nah, unfortunately,
We'll save for a different day. We'll save for a different day.
stale
Yeah.
jelly beans.
Yeah,
It just
I'm not
won't
even
be
worried
any
about the
good flavors
stale.
by that
The
time.
the taste is gonna be. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know how stale jelly beans can be. I mean, they're already the density is already kind of chewy. But Crocodile says it's a shame what Unite has become. A lot of people I know have dropped off the game. Play Unite to get away from the problems that Go had, but ends up being the same issues but on different platforms. Always worse when the Mewtwo/Zacian you come up against is always cracked, and the Mewtwo Zacian that's on your team is from Wish. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a lot. Like, I think when you're comparing different games, there's always a lot of grass is greener situations. But I think all games have their own specific issues too. It just depends on how severe the issues are.
See, this is one thing I always wondered about Unite. I always felt like, again, I don't play and I haven't had experience playing, but I always felt like if you play solo, then you're kind of inviting uh, a lot of frustrations that people have about the game in terms of like playing with bad players and stuff like that. Whereas it's a team game essentially. I feel like if you're playing solo, then you're kind of just you know you're kind of choosing to take that gamble. I feel like you should generally
Well,
play.
it kind of varies because I feel like people that I've seen like streams of people playing as a team, and I've been a part of these team games to myself where people can be really toxic towards each other, like towards your friends, right? Towards your
In
teammates,
your
even.
own team.
In your own team, of course. It's like sports, right? You have like
Yeah, I
5 versus 5
know.
basketball. The teammates argue with each other all the time too, right? They're not always having the best of times, regardless if they win or lose. Like like that's the thing with team games.
Hmm.
When you lose, you have someone you can always scapegoat and blame besides yourself, even if it's your own fault, right?
That's
Even
like
if
the
it's your own
opposite
fault,
of what I thought.
huh? It's
That's like the opposite of what I believe team
I
games should
know, no,
be
no,
in it. But
but even if you play with random people, you could blame other people.
yeah,
But if you're playing with people you know, it doesn't stop you from blaming other people. If you want to blame other people, you still can, right? But then you're blaming friends and you get in arguments and stuff. It's like that's why there's all these like team dynamic issues sometimes with some of these team games. Not even just Unite or like other MOBAs, but just team games in general, right? I mean that's happens in sports too, right? You see like a really good team, but you got two of the best players like beefing with each other, and then all of a sudden like the whole dynamic falls apart, right? Even though they on paper they look like the best team in the world, but
yeah,
things like
true.
I mean that happened with like Kobe and Shaq back in the day, right? Even though they're like a really good team, they had like bad chemistry between each other. So I think like that's always part of it. With Pokemon, I think that's why Pokemon Go, generally speaking, you could say it's toxic to a degree, but like generally speaking, I think the community is not that toxic because you're just like
Because they don't
you're
have to
just
play
doing your
with
own
each
thing.
other.
Yeah, you're just doing your own thing, right? And like you can't really
Yeah.
blame people. You might have like a little bit beef here or there, but sportsmanship is pretty good overall. I think the player base in general is not really a problem. It's just the game might have some problems at times. Whereas like I think like a game like League of Legends been out for like 10 plus years. Game
Mm.
wise and like the way the game runs and everything and the game balance, really, really good in my opinion. One of the best games in terms of that, based on all the hours I put into it. But it's the players that frustrate you the most, right? Whether you're playing, usually when you're playing with random people, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tilted from my teammate, right? It's not the game that's making you upset, it's the people you play the game. And that's what people talk about when they don't like games like League or other stuff. They're like, oh, the players are so toxic, they're so toxic, blah, blah, blah. And the more I realize it, I'm just like, dude, that happens everywhere in every game. Like it's not like the non-toxic people are playing a different game. They're just toxic people playing other games too. It's just how it is, right? It's just people, in my opinion. But yeah, no, I don't think it's trust me, when you start playing with teammates, you play with some of your Dracovis team friends, you know? A lot of them play,
Well,
right?
you
A
think they're
D
gonna
does, a D plays, Polly,
get on you for
DJ.
being bad?
Oh, I mean, I've gotten into arguments with all of them all the time. Yeah, I remember me and Polly argue for like about like an hour straight after a game, and someone in my Twitch chat came back like 30 minutes later, like, you guys are still arguing about the same thing, because we're doing like a team practice for a tournament, and like we're arguing about like a decision making. Like it happens, right?
Fair enough.
So I don't know. You dabble into it, and then you
Yeah,
tell
maybe I
me.
need more
You
experience
report
with
back.
team games to
Report back.
realize that.
More experience. You have no experience. You just need
I have
some
no. Well,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
more than
Yeah,
more
but
than none.
I think the thing is with team games, it depends on the person, because some people are definitely a little bit more introspective and have less of an ego, but I think the majority of people are not like that. The majority of people have some type of ego or stubbornness or whatever, and like to see fault in other people rather than themselves. So yeah, myself included, I'm not acting like I'm above it all. like I be blaming people too, but there's if I really reflect on the games I play, regardless of like it's Unite or League or whatever, like there's plenty of mistakes I make on a regular basis, right? So but it's just like when someone starts like crap talking you, then you start talking back and you get heated, and then just like you're sitting there like half the time just like pinging each other or typing each other the whole game rather than actually playing. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till you to see
I
you
don't
in that
know. I
experience.
mean, obviously, I don't think I'm that kind of person in it, but
You say that now. You say that now. We'll see. We'll see if the ego, what happens to Anicor.
I'd like to think I'm
I've
immune
seen
from
people
that.
get mad that you wouldn't expect to get mad.
That's what I'm thinking that you're implying, and I find that so
I'll just name a
wild to
name. It's
think
not a
about.
big deal. It's not. I don't think I'm like really like exposing anyone. But you know BJ, right? Pretty pleasant guy. He works with you guys on Dracovis and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen him tilted at Unite. Yeah, me and him gone at it too. Like I was like pissed, right? I was like super annoyed. I'm like, dude, like what you talking to me like that? Like the heck, right? Watch yourself. But it happens, right? It happens. But you wouldn't expect it, right? Coming from him.
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
All right. Anyway, get to another comment. T. Wastel says, "Yeah, I meant that Anicor says not gonna lie a lot, and Caleb says it is what it is pretty frequently." Okay, that makes more sense because yeah, you do say not gonna lie quite a bit.
I do say not gonna lie a lot, yeah, and I never do lie as well. It's something to note, especially when I say it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess that's fair. I guess it's fair. You were pretty honest about the times you never hit leaderboard on GBO and stuff. No lies found there. Still none.
Yeah, I don't know if that do me any good lying. Like, what am I hiding behind?
Yeah, we can just fact check it.
Yeah.
TSL also says, I will say I have noticed that there are some top players in my area that I've only ever seen at cups and haven't seen at any challenges yet. So I think he was talking about regarding how the same kind of people go to challenge and cups. So I think that's fair, right? There's more incentive to go to cups for sure, especially because they're less frequent. But unless you're really capped out on 6 challenges, I don't know. I feel like why not go for the 15 points too?
Yeah, that's true. I guess if it's local, then it makes it a bit more.
Yeah,
do you know
maybe.
What I mean? You've
It's
got
possible some players will travel further for a cup that isn't
exactly. Yeah. Apparently, if you get top cut in a cup, that's automatic 32 points. I guess.
What's top cut? Top 4 or top 8?
I don't know. I was just watching Inadequence's like video on the cup, and I believe it was top 4 for the one he was at. But I guess it's after Swiss. So basically, if you get top cut after Swiss, do you know what? Maybe that also just depends on how many people there are. So yeah, but still, that's kind of wild. 32 points is.
No, I feel like it can't be based on how many people. I feel like they can only allocate a certain amount of people regardless of how many people show up. That's my guess. Because if that's not the case, then if there's only a 4-person cup, then maybe the 4th place shouldn't get any points if it's based on size, right? But I think the points
that is wild, yeah.
But no. But I know for a fact that if there's only 4 people at a cup, they all get points.
That's mad.
Even if they lose every game. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's
for the
probably But so that's what I'm saying. If it's top 4, top 8, and stuff, because the top cut might look different for like a 100-person cup, but it's not like all top 16 get 32 points. I don't think that's my guess. I don't think so, but again, people can correct me if I'm mistaken in the comments. TS also says, I agree that the ratio of points for different level events seems a bit off, but I don't think that reducing the points for cups is the answer. There are parts of the world that will heavily rely on locals to produce enough qualifiers from their area, and the increased points are also important in terms of trying to grow local communities. Personally, I would like to see regionals award more points for Go. If you look at the difficulty to points ratio for regionals compared to both locals and ICs, I feel like regionals are currently undervalued comparatively. I'd agree with that. I think that's fair.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Regionals. Yeah, I think so because internationals you get a lot more bang for your buck for sure. Yeah, regionals. I think like if you get like number 2 or like if you finish runner up, I think like top 16 or something at an international might be similar. I don't know the specific breakdown. It might be.
I also feel like I don't know, but I feel like the difference between first place and second place points wise is like kind of unfortunate. it's either
It's 200 for first. What's
200
second
for first.
place?
I think second place is
150.
either 160 or 130. Let me just double
Okay.
check because I always remember, like, I'm always typing it out when, like, after we finish the regional and we're just like listing
Yeah,
the
let me just look it up real quick.
things.
So
And
for regional, it's 200 for first and 160 for second.
yeah,
At
it
an
feels
international, it's this is why the difference is big. It's 160. Assuming you have at least 80 participants, which pretty much every international
yeah.
will have over 80. It's you get 160 points if you're in the top 32. That's a
Wow.
big difference. Top 32 gets
Gets the
160.
same as second place in a regional.
Yeah, that is a pretty big disparity.
Yeah, that's kind of mad.
I gotta say. And like traveling to a regional, it could be just as pricey as an international, if
Yeah.
not even pricier, depending on where you're going. So
Yeah.
I do agree. I think that there's something
Yeah,
to
I
be
think there's
explained to
definitely
like
a
that.
way of balancing, balancing, enabling players from regions that don't have frequent events to be able to nearly either fully qualify or like fully qualify through locals, but then also um, making it so that in the regions that do have events, it's not as significant. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, this might be a personal issue with me, right? So definitely, I don't want to speak for others, and you could dislike me for saying this if you want to. I mean, I'm just being honest here. But when I see someone take a photo of like a cup they had, like a 50-point cup, and there's like 5 people at it, maybe 6, 7, maybe.
Yeah.
Even 8's like a little fishy, right? Because I know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's a lot of points going around for barely any people. They're playing like 3-round tournaments.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like, and I hate that I feel this way, but I'm just being honest here. It just makes me feel like the points they got are undeserved. Not to say that they can't win that at a bigger tournament if they were there, but you wouldn't know because there's just like 8 people or they had to play a couple people. And it's not their fault, right? They showed up. If that was me, I would show up, right? I wouldn't skip out on a 4-person Go Cup. But I do think like it feels weird. It's like it's hard for me to say, wow, like well deserved, right? Congratulations, blah blah blah. As a counterpoint example, though, I did see one tournament in Toronto, and they had their tournament was stacked. I think they literally did have like maybe 7 or 8 players, but their tournament were like I think like majority of those
That was
players,
the ones with like half of Icy Wind and then just a
a
load of
bunch.
other.
Yeah, and a bunch
Yeah.
of them already made top cut this season at legit big regional tournaments. So for that one, again, like I felt different. I felt very different. I was like, wow, actually that honestly, that sounds like a nightmare because every round you play is going to be a tough opponent, even if there's only like 10 people there. Whereas sometimes I see these and I'm just like, it's 4 people and none of you ever made top cut at anything, right? And again, I feel bad like saying that because, it doesn't mean they didn't deserve it or whatever, but it kind of like robs a little bit of the significance of the points they earn. But again,
Yeah.
it's not their fault. I'm not blaming them. There's nothing they did. It's nothing the organizers did wrong. I think it's just unfortunately a symptom of the formats. I feel a little bit like when Dash when he said Salt Lake City was a low skill tournament. I feel like I'm playing that villain role right now when I'm talking about this. A little bit,
I
a little bit.
mean,
But
yeah,
you
low
know,
key,
I,
yeah, but
but
I
I don't
don't
know.
think
I
you're
don't know what
wrong.
the fix is. I
Yeah.
think maybe. I
It's
think
also
QSL's
possible
point
that
is
because it's our
pretty good.
first year, that maybe it will feel more like this. But then once we have a season where locals are available from the jump for everyone, locals are also established as well. So it's not a case of like, oh, try and get your local card shop to start it. Like they've
Yeah.
already started and people are more aware, then maybe you will have less of, this kind of thing of like, 5 people at a cup. So
I think the other part that has me feeling a type of way is also the fact that like you could earn the same. We talked about this in previous episode too, so I'm kind of rehashing a little bit. We could earn the same amount of points from local tournaments at all regions, but the qualification
yeah,
points
yeah,
total
yeah, true.
required is not the same. Like it is. It is like I get why NA has more point requirements, but it is also just still expensive to go to all these, right? And like it's it's still costly. It's not like it's free to fly these tournaments, even if you have the time to do it. You need the time and the resources and stuff. And I feel for players that say, I don't have the budget in me to fly to all these tournaments. I can go to locals, but you can't qualify through locals only in North America. You can't even come close to it. I mean, you get a little bit past halfway if you get first in every one of them. But one, you have to assume they actually have all challenges and cups available. Two, you have to assume you can get first in all of them, and they're not. That's not an easy thing to do, right? Like, how many people has won 6 first place challenges and 6 first place cups already, and have like a decent pool of players, right? Like, I don't think anyone in the world has. And if they have, I need to see a picture of the people you're playing against, who you playing against in these tournaments, right? If it's you and your 3 friends that just downloaded the app 5 minutes ago, that's it's a little sketch.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like obviously it's not a perfect system, and I'm not blaming anyone for this because you could. I don't know if there'll ever be a perfect system, and that's not on anyone's. That doesn't fall on anyone, in my opinion. But I do think like what TWSL brought up is actually a really good point to potentially increase some of the traction for the regionals in particular. Challenges for 15 points is also, it's a lot of work for 15 points.
Yeah,
like some of these challenges are like 8-round tournaments.
Yeah. Like 25 would be nice. 25.
I would like 25 a lot. 25 would be
25
good.
25 sounds sick. Yeah.
But okay, so let's think about this. So 6 challenges and 6 cups, right? So how many total points would that be? You want to pull out your calculator? Huh?
I'm trained.
Yeah, you're trained. You know it. So 450 total points. Yeah. I'm not going to check your math on that. I'm just going to assume you know it. If you're wrong, people better roast you. Like I didn't even do the mental math. So that is a lot of points though, and I think for me personally,
but then you'd have to adjust. You'd have to adjust other sort of things, in it. So
I think there needs to be some adjustment. This is just my personal take. I know some people won't like it, especially from other regions outside NA. But I think you do need to reduce the total point cap you can earn from different regions based on their point threshold. Yeah, that's just my take. Yeah. I know not everyone's going to like it, especially if you're from a region that's not NA that needs less points, because you're like, well, you're just saying that because it was NA or whatever. We all have a lot. Obviously everyone's biased, right? Myself included in that regard. But I do think I don't know. It just feels weird to just qualify straight off of just locals alone, or pretty much get to 90+% of your total requirement.
Yeah.
But I don't want places like Australia and New Zealand not to have locals ever. I think that's important. But I do think that like you should have to go to at least one regional do okay-ish. Okay-ish. I'm not even saying like top 2, right? Just okay-ish. Maybe a top 8 finish. That's not too much to ask for, right? Just to you do a couple locals and get one top cut to qualify the Worlds, that's pretty doable.
I think that's valid for a place like Australia where there actually are events. But thinking about a place like, for example, Argentina.
LATAM is definitely.
Yeah, I think in LATAM there's a bigger issue. Maybe, like, I don't know if you split Brazil and. But then again, Brazil is a big country as well. But I don't know if
how pricey is it to fly to New Zealand and back and forth, because that's also not an easy thing for New Zealanders either.
I think it's not as I don't think it's like that viable. I don't know exactly how much it is, but I'm assuming it's probably like around I don't know. $400-500.
Look, all this we're saying all this, and honestly, the least fair region is TPC regions that literally have like one chance to qualify a year outside of Japan, right? So,
but that's a whole that's a TPC.
That's a whole that's a little bit mixed bag situation. Imagine if NA and EU and all the other the TPCI regions were like that. You just get one tournament you could enter a year.
No, but you know what would be nice is because in VGC they have online tournaments which contribute. So, for example, I believe
for our TPCI regions too.
Yeah. So I think how it works is if, let's say, for example, they do. I don't know if they still call it the Players' Cup, but basically they have like a large online tournament, and I think they have about 3 of them. And for Japan and Korea, or maybe just Korea, it is how they determine who qualifies for their like PJCS equivalent, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for anyone else who enters it, they just get championship points. If they
really? It's open internationally to everyone else.
Yeah, so it's open internationally. Yeah, let's say for example you're a Korean player and you get 10th. Yeah, so you're and then there's another Korean player who gets maybe 2nd, but you're the 2nd Korean player, so you're essentially 2nd in Korea.
Right? That's kind of interesting.
If I'm up there as well, 5th, I'm not Korean. then I'm just gonna get. So they separate out the results at the
But
end.
they have a top cut too. So for the top cut, that like the top performers,
not for this tournament in
not
particular.
for the
This is like
cups.
this particular tournament is
Okay.
like open to everyone online. You can just enter it
Because
whenever
I
you
know
want to
VGC last
play
year
it
they
from
had
home.
some top cut situation, but all the players got disqualified because they all ran like metronome for
Yeah,
Fable
yeah. So
or
that would
whatever.
have been like their PJCS equivalent. So that's like the
Oh.
tournament to qualify. So
Wait, so what's the
that's
point of the
still.
Players Cup for the Koreans then? If that's not their specific tournament, what did they get out of that one? They could
So
also qualify
so
through the Players Cup
they
and their
qualify. So they play it so that they can qualify for their
national.
like actual like national tournament or whatever.
I need people to fact
Um,
check this. This sounds kind of wild.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it's like everyone can
Adam said
play
he
it.
never lied, but this sounds like it might be a
I don't lie. I
lie.
don't lie. I think
He
you're
doesn't lie.
fine.
He's just misinformed.
I think you're fine. Yeah, no misinformation for 2024. Yeah,
Oh,
this
that's
is
bold. That's a bold statement. You every time you misinform
now I've
people,
got to hold on to
I'm
this.
gonna call it out.
But yeah, so basically, like, yeah, everyone can enter the tournament, and then at the end of it, they separate out the players in terms of how they think the results. So it's like
Okay.
you getting first if you're from Korea doesn't take away from a non-Korean player getting 1st.
Mm-hmm.
They distribute it accordingly. But I think that would be sick. If we had like not saying a Go Battle League tournament, but just an online tournament in general. Again, it facilitates for people who can't travel to places. It gives them another opportunity to actually, like gain some points and something like that. So, yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to implement. But
yeah,
doesn't look like it'll be the case anytime soon. But
yeah,
at least there's precedent for it in the other games.
TWSL comments continues. My guess is they might not be able to operate in other parts of Africa due to local laws. This is when we talked about, why there aren't. It's just South Africa, right? For Africa, and it's like
I'm not gonna lie, bruv. I think that they probably have. I know it's like local. I think it's a combination of infrastructure plus can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know about can't be. What does can't be bothered mean? What is
like? Okay. You TPCI, they're already struggling to put on events in like Latin American countries where they know there's a large player base. Yeah, I don't think that they'll even bother with Africa.
But what makes them? What's the struggle?
I don't know what the struggle is.
Yeah.
But they seem to be struggling. I'm not saying that this should be, but I just.
But the struggles could be due to local laws, right?
Yeah, I guess it could be, but I just don't see. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like being like overly skeptical, but I don't know.
I know. No. That's fine to be overly skeptical. I'm just wondering what's the skepticism originally.
I just don't see them putting any effort into Africa. It doesn't look like a.
Well, I think the thing is, if there's not a player base for it, then what's the point, right? They're not going to put an effort to host a tournament in Antarctica, right? Because there's not a player base for it. If there's not a player base in Nigeria for Pokemon, then what's the point of hosting a tournament there? Who's going to fly into Nigeria for
Do you think there's much of a player base in South Africa?
There might be.
I don't know.
There might. I mean, I know there's a player base for Pokemon Go in South Africa because we had someone that went to Sylph Worlds from South Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe not a ton of players, but there's some for Pokemon Go at least. But I mean, they're not hosting tournaments there specifically. It's just if you can earn championship points. But anyway, his comment continues. Not totally sure though, but I've heard from people that have been involved in play Pokemon for a while in the other games that local laws, video game and gambling laws affect where they can and can't hold locals and also impact where they can hold regionals versus special events versus nothing. That makes sense too. I mean,
yeah, the locals thing I guess makes sense.
I mean, again, if there's not an interest for it, that's one thing. But also, if the laws don't align with it, then it's like a double whammy. And I don't know how much interest there is in Africa for Pokemon in general. It depends on the areas too, right? But I used to work for a public health organization we worked a bunch of countries in Africa and South America and parts of Asia as well. And I mean, obviously the places we worked with like neglected tropical diseases. They just didn't have infrastructure for a lot of things in general. Obviously that doesn't speak to the entire country. that they're from, but I can see why there's not a lot of Pokemon fans in some of those countries. But part of it's just they might have never had the exposure for it. As far as Asia goes, the reason that's all held online is because those are TPC markets rather than TPCI markets. So TPC is in charge of those areas and has decided to run things that way. I wish things were more uniform between TPC and TPCI markets, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Yeah, and that's a tough one too, because if my understanding is correct, TPC, like the hierarchy is TPC then TPCI. So even TPCI is running these tournaments and they like the formats they're doing it. They can't just go to TPC, who's kind of their boss or the hierarchy. They're ahead of them and be like, "Hey, we don't like the way you're doing. You got to change to our system." They can make a recommendation, but
TPC... It's a shame though, because there's some Asian countries that get like the equivalent of a regional in VGC. So I think Taiwan had a recent. Not
really?
regional, but it's like because I think it's named something different, but essentially it's a regional. So that would be cool. Again, that there's precedent in other games, so
yeah,
it'd be cool if they could.
I need China to get their stuff together, man. I mean,
China is just like fully banned, isn't it? Though
everything, yeah, you can't. Okay, so to be fair, I haven't been back to China since Pokemon Go launched, but I'm really curious if I could GPL in China if I go visit. Because for me, like from a content perspective, I don't care if I can't catch certain things at events. But if I can't have a GPL for the entire week I'm there, like, what am I doing, right? We ain't recording no podcast when I'm in China, that's for sure, right? There's no way. Everything's like banned. I would have to use VPN for everything, like Discord and Google.
WeChat recorder or something.
Yeah, literally everything. Gmail's banned, YouTube's banned, Facebook's banned, Instagram's banned. Discord's most definitely banned. Funny enough, League of Legends and Dota is huge in China.
It's not banned.
No. They have full-on broadcasts. They have full teams. No, they spend millions of dollars funding these teams. It's actually really interesting.
The government funds them.
I don't know if it's government, but they're big corporations that fund it for sure. I was talking to my friend and VGC commentator Joe Brown about this when we were in Brazil. I was like, break it down. Like, what's the rules? And there's like a rule in League where you can only pick up, each team can only have 2 Korean players. Like there's like a clause, or 2 international players outside your region, and they're always Korean because like they're like the best. So they don't try to recruit. They're not going, like in the US, you're not going to recruit 2 Chinese players onto your team. We could recruit 2 Korean players, and there's a lot of Korean players that play on Chinese teams. And I was just thinking, well, Korea's like, if the teams are really good in Korea, why would they leave Korea to go play for China? And he said, what's the money? And so the Chinese teams are willing to dish out more money to recruit these players. So there's definitely like a little stigma, I think, in Korea where like some of these top Korean players will go play for Chinese teams because, they're kind of like selling out a little bit for the cash to play for a different nation. But the best teams in League, I think outside the first year, apparently it's always China or Korea that wins. And you got to think about it. Every time China wins, it's 2 out of the 5 players are Korean. Which is so funny to me, but yeah, it's
like footballers going to play for Saudi clubs.
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I always thought like it's a shame that Go is banned because I imagine there'd be loads of really, really good Chinese players, and I think there was
funny enough though for Go. I don't know how much for VGC and TCG and stuff, but I think just in general for Pokemon games, the whole like, the best gamers are from Korea or China is not really, or like even Japan is not really applied as much as other games. Like in some other games, like League, like I said, literally no teams won Worlds except for maybe the first year when there was wasn't as big. Besides the Chinese and Korean team, that's crazy. Like they haven't gotten like top 4, I think. Like it's like literally once all the Western teams, like the European and US, like North American teams are out, they're like, all right, here's where the real competition begins. Like that's like it's like when the North America team got eliminated this year, like the exit interview, the guy's like, oh, like hope you all tune into like the North America League more and stuff. Like please watch more, and everyone's just laughing. Like, what do you mean we're not going to watch that? Like if we want to watch real competitive, we're going to watch the Korean leagues or the Chinese league. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like,
but for Go, it's different.
Yeah,
and for a lot of Pokemon games,
I want to say that. I want to say that because Show 6 is essentially like outside of the championship series is something that we've had to organize on our own. That maybe that's a reason, right? Because the Japanese players, for example, they still absolutely dominate the GBL leaderboards, and so do like a lot of Asians in general. Like I
Yeah, but so do
remember
a lot of non-Asians too, right? Like
they do.
it's
That's
not
true,
it's not it's not as
but the thing is that like with there are so many Asian players, yeah, where if you don't have any knowledge of Asian players or like you've only seen Worlds, you won't have a clue who they are, yeah, and
yeah.
they're all up in the like first page and everything like that. Whereas a lot of the people that you get who are non-Asian, who are frequently leaderboards, you generally know who they are because like maybe you've seen them at an event or something like that. So I feel like there's a lot of Asians that seem to have like a lot of potential at GBL, and maybe just not had either the opportunity to translate that into Show 6, like maybe they didn't enter
Yeah,
the
but remember
one
what you said a
tournament
couple
again.
months ago? You said that I think it was when we first had you and Polly on from the
Mm.
Dracovic segment. You said that after that first year at Worlds in London, the Japanese players like, oh, we gotta get our show 6 act together, right? Like
Yeah,
because
but I
a
don't
lot
know
of
how
them they
much they
weren't
did.
as into it. Well, I mean,
I
they
don't
did.
know
I'm
to
not
what
saying
extent they did it.
I'm not hating on like
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah,
players or like Asian players in general, right? From from
yeah.
from the Asian countries, but it didn't seem like that happened.
Maybe we need another year. I don't know,
I
because
mean,
this is what I was wondering
also,
as well. Yeah,
Worlds is not the biggest sample size, and a lot could go
yeah,
wrong in a
yeah,
double elimination format. So maybe I'm being a little too harsh, right? Maybe we need to see more years of Worlds to see
yeah.
how that
Maybe,
goes.
maybe.
But this is the thing that again, this kind of kills me is it's so much easier to qualify for Worlds from a TPCI region than TBC region.
Yeah.
You're going to be even more outnumbered, in my opinion, from qualification standpoint this year.
Yeah, that's true. They're way, way more outnumbered. I
Way
mean, they
more
haven't
outnumbered.
announced what's happening this year in terms of TBC, so
But like, are
there's
they
a
going to double
possibility
their
that
qualification numbers? Because I feel like for
I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
NA
Yeah,
and like EU
because
and other
essentially they've
regions,
doubled it,
you
right?
could
Yeah,
literally double,
yeah,
especially
that's
because
true.
there's locals now in EU and
Yeah,
NA, and I guess LATAM to a degree too.
that is
Uh,
true. That is true. I don't know. I
I
don't
feel
know.
bad.
Obviously,
I feel bad,
they could
for
announce
the.
something, but yeah, it's true. It's actually quite unfortunate.
But I mean, again, just because you qualify doesn't mean you're going to go, right? So
Yeah,
that's also
yeah,
part of it. But I think a lot of people, especially because it's in Hawaii, it's a cheaper place to travel for NA
yeah. Mm.
players and for LATAM too.
And also
Honestly,
Asian players as well. Yeah.
is it cheap? Is it that cheap to
Well,
fly
I
to
mean, it's
Hawaii?
easier. It's like
Easier, but it doesn't make it
it's
any
like
cheaper,
Bolt.
right?
You know?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, well, okay, not cheaper than Japan, but obviously cheaper than the US, probably.
Yeah. We'll see. Uh, I think. Oh yeah, and then yeah, that was the last part of T-Ross's comment. Man, we really went on a tangent there. And funny enough for Dota though, I've been keeping up with the official Dota scene for a while.
Mm.
It's also another MOBA like league in Unite. It used to be very Chinese dominated, but there's a lot of like Western teams that succeeded over the years too. Actually, the first team to go back to back champions and just win 2 championship titles in general, but back to back years was a European team. So yeah. Anyway, Chad Hardery says, "Great podcast once again, guys. Keep it up. You mentioned at one point what could be done to make PvP more dynamic / interesting. While the current changes to the meta have resulted in a good balance, and the suggestion about the timer change is good, what about the incorporation of the size feature as an impact to the damage inflicted / sustained as additional elements? What do you think about that?
I
Let me
actually
read
thought
that.
that. Yeah.
Let me read the rest of the comment first because I think
Okay.
he
Okay.
talks a little bit more about size afterward. What if the size difference from average had an impact on the damage? For example, if he had extra small a small size, the damage sustained from charge attacks is reduced as it is more difficult to hit, but damage inflicted is also reduced as it is smaller. For extra large, the reverse will apply. It would suffer from increased damage sustained from charge attacks, but also would inflict increased damage from charge attacks.
Oh,
What
I
do you
don't
think
know
about
about
that?
that one. Like the thing is,
It could
I
also be
feel like.
stated though, like let's do it this way, right? You might be smaller, right? So it's hard to hit. But I'm thinking, right, like
It's
like
not
a
doing any
small
damage.
Rattata, that hyper beam gonna hurt, right? It doesn't matter how small you are. You even get hit by a little bit. I feel like that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You don't have much health.
Yeah. Do you know what the thing is? Is that I feel like they are kind of gearing up to have size influence things, right? So the two things that I feel like they're potentially gearing up to do is one, maybe like health absorbing moves, right? So, for example, you got parabolic charge, and realistically, the only use of parabolic charge in like the main game is supposed to get you some health, and at the moment, it's just like an awful move because it doesn't have a secondary effect, which it feels like it should have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they just end up making that defense boost like drain punch instead of health absorbing thing. But also the other thing is, for example, heavy slam. So I think heavy slam has, or maybe had, the same stats as Iron Head. Whereas in the main series games, heavy slam is influenced by the weight of your Pokemon and also your opponent's Pokemon. Same, for example, like Grass Knot. So Grass Knot and Power Whip are the exact same, right? Whereas Grass Knot actually is influenced in the main games by how heavy your opponent's Pokemon is. So I feel like they were potentially gearing up for that to be a thing. And I think in those situations, because it's like if you're using Grass Knot, if you're choosing to use Grass Knot, then you're choosing to use it with the intention that, like, that it's the weight is gonna affect the move, right? But if it's everything that the weight is affecting, I don't know, man. That sounds kind of long.
So for me personally, I don't think it's a bad idea. My biggest hesitation though with this, and this is kind of like probably like a Niantic philosophical issue, is if there's no way to change the size once you have it, it's another barrier to entry to PvP, right? Because it's another thing that's hard to get, right? It's very hard to get the right IVs. Sometimes it's hard to get the right move set because you have to evolve it at a certain time. There's certain point where you can't even trade, like the Ox Defense, so you have to be around to raid it, right? There's no way you can trade it. It's completely inaccessible right now. And since when was the last time we had the Ox Defense and raids? Forever ago. It's been a long time. It's been over a year. It's been a while, right? And so again, accessibility, like I think that's what VGC does really well, is that yes, there's a lot of factors, right? They got like EVs, IVs, whatever, right? And all, like, so many different stat values, but they have bottle caps where we could max everything to perfect if it's not perfect already. And then they're also introducing, if they haven't introduced already in the DLC content, it's like the opposite bottle caps where you can reduce the IVs.
Is it?
There is. There used to not be, but they actually introduced it more recently in their DLC content, if I'm not mistaken.
That's big.
Wow. So yeah, so that way, if they want to go for trick room shots where they want like low speed or low attack,
so now there's nothing that they can't control.
There's nothing they can't control.
Amazing.
And so that's so the beauty of it is, yes, the game's complicated. There's so many different factors that come into play, but you can control those factors easily, and you craft a team you want easily for that. You don't have to spend forever grinding like whatever Pokemon you're looking for on a specific IV spread just to have it, when you could just acquire the items you need to do it, and it's not that hard to get these items too. And so I
guess
think
the equivalent of this like weight suggestion is pretty much just shadows, because they are doing more damage and taking less damage, or like taking more damage as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And
it
like,
is kind of like a shadow.
And if you had to, like, I mean, shadows again are already like inaccessible-ish. So
you can essentially amplify the shadow even more, right?
Yeah.
You want like an extra small shadow, extra small. Again, like, I don't think it's a bad idea. You do like create you stretch out the power levels even more from from the endpoint to the endpoints, which I don't think is a bad idea. I just think it's super inaccessible. It makes the game less and less accessible, which from Niantic's end, I can see that they might like it because it's like, oh, you keep people grinding. It's more of a forever game. But it definitely becomes more and more frustrating for players trying to build a good team or trying to get into the game. For those of us that already have stuff, like, okay, if I don't have an extra small whatever, it's not a big deal. I'll just use the other stuff, right? But for other people, they're trying to build, it's just like, and nothing's cheap. Stardust doesn't come easy and everything like that. So, like, the game's a huge grind, and I don't love that. I don't love that. I think a little bit of grinding's good for sure, but it is hard to build a full team, a ready team for PvP in official format. It's going to be even harder if extra small, extra large, whatever is a factor, in my opinion. So I don't hate the idea. I just think that you need to be able to customize it much more once you have the Pokemon. You need to be able to downsize your Pokemon or make it larger. But then they're like, oh, well, then that's going to ruin the showcase stuff. Right? Everyone's going to just soup up everything to be super large or whatever for that. So
I don't know if showcase is our biggest concern at the moment.
I finally won a showcase. Actually, I got first place.
Is it like a showcase that nobody entered?
No. My area, there's a lot. No. It's always I couldn't get into my showcase today when I walked by it.
Oh, swear.
But I just had a big ponytail or whatever. Yeah. It was like a few weeks ago, and
the rewards are actually good.
Oh, it's not bad at all. Yeah, I think I got like a lure module, maybe a star piece, a lucky egg, or something like that. I got some pretty good stuff, and that was just from one. And there's some people that regularly get first place in all three. But for that, it's like it's tough because if you have an area that's less popular, you can win first consistently. But I'm not really hating on that because these like rural players in general already don't have a lot going for them. So I'm okay if they win showcases from time to time. But that could be a concern as well.
What do you think about if Heavy Slam and Grass Knot incorporate weight?
Again, I think the weight thing is just like it's a delicate situation, I think, and it could open up. It's essentially like a Pandora's box that you might open up and not be able to put back together if it's not introduced well. So I don't think they're terrible ideas by any means. I think they definitely could be really cool, but I think the approach and what happens afterward is the accessibility of these things need to be in heavy consideration before doing it. I know we have some Niantic listeners, so again, if you like the idea, I'm not saying don't do it, right? I just think like these are my concerns I'm laying out right now, and if they do it one day and it backfires and all my concerns come true, I'm clipping this and throwing up there, man. I told you so. January 2024. That being said, I do think I don't think it's a bad idea to switch things up. But yeah, Chad also continues. The other option I was wondering about is would they ever introduce a third charge attack option? That's a good question. It could be, but certain Pokemon would be. I think certain Pokemon will be really busted. And I think this is when you need to introduce better charge attacks to other Pokemon to balance it out. Azumarill is going to have perfect coverage. Mew's going to be completely wild and off the wall, right? What is it? Mewtwo in Master League? Pretty nuts too. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Pokemon that are already good that just become better. Registeel, what's walling that off? You're going to have Flash Cannon for the Gligar too and the ground types, like, and you got Zap Cannon and you got Focus Blast, like what? There's gonna be some pretty funky things going on. Glaring Stumpfist is like a weird one. You can start baiting with Muddy Water now. Like you don't really have to, but the Swampert will be strong. Like you got Sludge Wave, Earthquake, and Hydro Cannon. Like what? Samrock will run triple water moves.
Like, yeah, that's exactly what you want to do.
Love that one. Yeah. It could be. I don't hate that idea. I do think it could be interesting. Greedent would be a fun one because you have Body Slam, Trailblaze, and Crunch, so you have some interesting coverage. But I think if they were to do that,
to open up move pools for
you need to shake up the move pool quite a bit.
To be honest, we're getting into that territory where, again, this is the mandatory. Please rework the charge TM system.
Umbreon would be pretty busted too. Psychic, Last Resort, and Foul Play. Yeah,
insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of mons are getting more moves, and we are getting to a position where it's like you're having to pick over, which charge move you want for your, that like fits for your team better.
Yeah, Poliwrath would be kind of nuts too.
Poliwrath would be insane.
A bunch of Scalds. I mean, Medicham as well. I mean, Medicham's back on top. If you go on Psychic, Dynamic Punch, and Ice Punch, or you go on Power Punch, Psychic, Ice Punch. Yo, these combos can go kind of crazy. I think it would be really cool and it'd be fun for definitely a hot second. Deoxys Defense would be super fun too. But I think the strong Pokemon are only gonna get stronger off of that. Yeah. So you really need to introduce some charge attacks that are relevant for like.
It's cool that there's a good amount though. Like it sounds like there's a decent
not gonna get any better. It's got all the moves you want in the world and it's still gonna be trash. Sableye could be interesting too. Power Gem, Foul Play, and Return. Yeah, Skelders. There's gonna be some Galarian Weezing. There could be definitely some fun options. I again, that would be a lot of fun, and that would really switch things up. but it could make OP Pokemon just even more OP. So that's something like, would that be a bad thing? Let me ask you that. Because you got certain things that wall off certain Pokemon, like, I don't know, Registeel with Flash Cannon, Focus Blast just gets walled off by Talonflame and Charizard, right?
I think it would be bad at the moment because again, we've been developing to a place where there's a lot more viable Pokemon.
But wouldn't that also make things have more play if you have coverage, like you don't get walled off by anything?
That's true. That is true.
Like you're watching out for Hybrid Beam from Lickitung on your Poliwrath now. You know.
I forgot I got that. Yeah, that is true.
That Gengar could hit you with a couple things, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know what? Again, I think if you open up a lot more move pools, it definitely would be a lot more fun. But then at this point, it would be like there's probably 15 to 20 Pokemon which are realistically usable in that case. Yeah. And then outside of that there's not really too much. So,
I don't know. The more I think about it, the more fun I think it could be. I think it might get old after. I don't know. I just think there's so much play. Like when I see a play rough Ice Beam Azumarill into my Bastion, I'm chilling, right? Or like Azumarill even into Registeel, you're chilling if they don't have Hydro Pulp. Now, like you kind of got to worry. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to worry about that Flash Cannon coming from that Registeel now. Right? You kind of got to worry about that Aerial Ace coming from a lone Sandslash.
That's a wild one.
But hey, why not run it if you can run 3 charge attacks? Yeah. Why not, right? Golisopod gonna go kind of crazy too.
Yeah, Greninja gets Aerial Ace.
Greninja, Jellicent could be interesting with Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Answer.
You know what? I always feel like Ice Beam would be so good on Jellicent, but you just don't want to drop the other two.
Yeah. Tomahawk UK going to be loving that Thunderbolts, Surf, Lantern. You run it all.
That's coverage.
That's coverage. Yeah, you get some spice. I don't know. I think it could be interesting. I don't know if that. I think it would definitely get the. Say I don't know how much playtesting that actually does. I think playtesting would be interesting for that one, but I think it could. I don't know. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate it. Giving more coverage to Pokemon is not a bad thing, in my opinion, for RPS situations. But anyway, Chad closed off with Happy New Year, and thank you again for great content. Hope to maybe meet you at a Play Pokemon event at some point. Cheers, Chad, which is also TB12 Pat's Rule. Thank you for the fantastic comments. That stirred up quite a bit of conversation, Chad. And if you're going to Portland or Melbourne, we'll see you there. Yeah. But anyway, I told everyone.
Chances of them going to Melbourne is... Well, I don't know. Who are the Pats?
What do you mean? Who's Pat's Rule? Like where does he use that? I don't know.
Okay, well,
maybe.
Yes.
Actually, funny enough, I'll tell you. Speaking of Melbourne too, I was listening to the PvP Corner podcast earlier today, and HM London was their guest, and he said he might consider going to Melbourne potentially because the there's like the Melbourne Open or something for tennis is happening. At end of January. So he's like, man, if I'm going that, I might as well just compete at Melbourne. So I don't know. I'll have to ask him and see. But when I was listening to that podcast, I messaged him. And, man, you might be out of business. But I messaged him. And I was like, you actually have a great ASMR voice. Has anyone told you that? He's like, actually, yeah, a lot of people have. HM London's voice, his voice is actually pretty. It's so.
I haven't checked, but like, why are you?
I'm being honest too. You say you're honest, I'm honest too, right? I'm gonna be honest. If you're not the best ASMR voice in the Pokemon Go community, and I think HM London has you beat. HM London has you beat. Just no, but the thing is, if you listen to his voice, it's effortless. He already talks like his ASMR. You're trying to do the ASMR. Yeah, you got competition.
It's true,
But lucky for you, it seems like people aren't really into ASMR anyway. Because when I posted an ASMR GBL video, everyone was hating it, right? Not everyone, but there wasn't a positive comment about the ASMR. That's for sure. People will just tune out. If I watch watch time on that video, guarantee it's 5% people are done. So none of that when you had to play Loudred on my stream next season. No ASMR.
I'll keep the ASMR to myself.
It's one of those times I feel like you think people like it, but it just doesn't land. You know,
I think it's definitely
it's not for this.
It's got
community.
a particular audience. Yeah.
And it's not the Pokemon Go PP audience.
It's maybe.
It's time to start your next ASMR channel. But.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, that solves that question for me. I'm not making no PvP ASMR channel. It failed real quick, so no need for me to steal that idea.
Use me as the. as the guinea pig.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's it for YouTube comments. Thank you again for leaving those for those that listened to it. And for our most proud, so this is something you added on.
Yeah.
Take it
So
away.
I
Take it away,
mean,
Anicor.
it's 2024. Yeah,
It is.
it's a new year. Yeah. So let's look back on the old year. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I only want to do this briefly in it, yeah, because I think a
You're
lot
not
of
going
people.
to lie, huh?
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. You already know that. Whenever you already know, even before I say I'm not gonna lie, that I'm not lying. Yeah, but sometimes I need to let it hit home. But yeah, what's one thing that you've sort of like been proud of that you've done over the last year? But also I want to say too
Just
because
one
I feel
thing.
like I feel like you might choose worlds or something. So
Let me choose one. Let's
okay,
not like
okay,
we're
let me know what's
pigeonholed to one thing each, right?
uh,
Okay, I'll say mine.
what's yours?
It's actually not worlds. I think commentating for worlds and stuff was a big deal and everything.
Mm.
But I did it the first year, and I think it's still a big moment. I'm very like grateful to be selected. But for me, I'm actually pretty proud of my double qualification, double grand finals appearance, because that was my first time ever. My first time ever competing. I got second, right, and then I didn't do as hot in Hartford. I was obviously only one game away from making top cut
Yeah.
there too, but I missed out on it, so I don't have the undefeated top cut streak like some others. But then I got second again at Fresno, which was a small tournament, but still, some good
Still
players.
competitive, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about that, and I don't know if I'll ever replicate that success again on competitive level. I'll try. I mean, you don't think I'm trying to win Portland? I'm gonna try, but I wouldn't be shocked if I get eliminated day one, don't even make top cut. It's not easy in my opinion, even if I'd done it before. And so I think for me that was a good. It just felt very validating, right? Like I'm not just talking the talk, right? I'm walking the walk, and I can do it. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm short on ego, but it's nice to feel the ego is validated to a degree, right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
I'm not scared to
especially
face
because
anyone,
also,
right? But
like, I guess a lot of the staff or casters generally, it seems like once they've started staffing, they've sort of left competitive a bit more. Do you know what I mean? So
I feel like you're subtweeting Dancing Rob to a degree.
no, not
Nah,
even,
just
but
messing,
like,
I'm
I
just messing.
mean, he
A
is a
little
good
bit.
example of that as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like a lot of the staff have kind of, you know, they're staffing, and then as a result, they're just not really doing as much competitive stuff, whether that
Yeah.
be, you know, like GBL intensely
Mm-hmm.
or the play circuit.
Factions. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sylph.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I
what.
think that's a good one. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
That's what I put for
interesting to
mine.
see if John Gardner
John Gardner.
also goes in that direction.
No. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to compete. I listened to a podcast he was
No,
on.
but as in like, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough.
He's not interested in. He hasn't competed at all, and he's not interested in
Yeah.
competing. Like in show 6, he just wants to commentate. Like I heard him. He was on a different podcast. I think it was I think it was the. I think it was a BTW podcast. I think,
Mhm.
or I don't know. But he was interviewed by Sosaflow, and I forgot which podcast it was on. But Sosaflow was leading the charge on that one, and yeah, he said he wasn't interested.
Yeah.
He just wanted to commentate. So
It would be interesting to see him compete in it, but maybe his arm
yeah,
can be twisted sometime down the line.
maybe he'll have to
Yeah.
lose a bet or something. But yeah. Okay, so what's yours?
Honestly, I don't even know, you know, like, I feel like, so I'm not necessarily going to limit its Pokemon, but I feel like it probably would be
It doesn't
something
have to
Pokemon.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. I like,
Getting a sofa after 11 months.
that was a big achievement. I can't lie.
That's quite a grind.
It was. I don't know. I've done like quite a lot of things this year, but then at the same time, I don't know. You know what the thing is? Actually, I feel like I feel like for okay. I feel like actually my thing is the world social, right? And the only reason for that is not because
What's a world social? What do you mean by that? Like
the
world
like
championships?
the social that we did at Worlds.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The
Yeah,
social event that you hosted. Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
get to
And the
go to
only
actually.
reason for
Yeah.
that was because not even anything to do with that, but more rather personally, because like I haven't set up events in ages. Equally, it was in a completely different country, and
Speaks a
also
completely different
because
language. Yeah.
yeah, so it was the most difficult thing to do, mainly because of those sorts of things. Like I wasn't able to negotiate with the venues effectively because I wasn't able to talk to them directly. It was very difficult to communicate everything that I was trying to do through other people, and then also negotiate at the same time. Also, kind of like communicate past cultural differences and things like that. So there was like a lot of challenges involved in that. And then equally, there was a lot of problems that arose. And compared to how I would have dealt with those problems in the past, I dealt with them way differently this time.
Okay.
And like a blanket example of that is just, in the past, I think if something would go wrong when I'm organizing something or something like that, my main thing would be to try and fix it as soon as possible, and then maybe not communicate as much while I'm trying to, sort of figure out an issue. And what I've realized over the years is that actually my vision of something is usually going to be way higher than what people are willing to put up with. Like they're willing to put up with way less than what I'm planning, right?
Right.
So in my head, I'm like, well, everyone's going to hate it if it's not, to this standard. Whereas for everyone else, they're just like, doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? As long as it's like, at a sort of basic level. And I think this time I sort of took that in and actually, made sure that everything was fundamentally fine. And then everything on top of that was just a bonus. And yeah, personally for me, that was a big thing because
Okay.
that was definitely something I struggled with before. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that
You
was
definitely put a lot of work into that. I was gonna ask you if it was starting Dracoviz or doing all the Dracoviz stuff.
yeah. I mean, you know
The
what the thing is?
spaces. I
That
was
was
gonna say that, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to say it before you said your things. I didn't want to like put that
yeah,
thought in your head if it wasn't where your head was at. Because
yeah.
I
Do
think
you know
like
what the
you were
thing
gonna say
is?
the same thing about me, right? Like, oh, maybe it's like
Yeah,
compensating
yeah,
worlds,
that's
but
true.
like it,
Yeah,
but things might mean different things to different people. So I
yeah.
didn't
I
want
think the Drake of his one was big as well, and I think. Do you know what? Honestly, yeah, I think it definitely was a big thing, right? And we definitely achieved a lot.
to.
But I also feel like, although I know that I was definitely an important part of the whole idea, um, there was other people who are definitely way more
Yeah, yeah,
important
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the whole thing, And also, it's not to say that like maybe it's possible that if I wasn't there, certain things wouldn't happen because maybe certain things are just a combination of everyone as opposed to but that there's definitely people who are way more important in that project, and so I think because of that is probably why I chose that one. But the
Okay.
thing is, again, I think we did make a huge impact, um, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of that as well. To be honest,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
That makes sense. That
that
makes
is
sense. The more I think about it.
And then the other one was, and I also don't have a pre-prepared thingy for this, but I'm just wondering if you do, right? And maybe
Okay.
something. Obviously, over the last few days, there's like bare things on Twitter where it's like little like threads and honestly it's just engagement farming, but whatever. Like,
Yeah, I
most
definitely did it because I saw some other people that I was like, yeah, let me write about my 2023, I guess
yeah,
too.
bruv. Honestly, like the whole of Twitter these days is just engagement farming anyway, but what are you gonna
True.
do? But there was one that I had some kind of funny responses, and it was like, what's the funniest slash stupidest thing you did in 2023?
Not on Twitter, just in general, right?
Just in general, yeah.
The stupidest or funniest thing?
I should have really
Do you have
prepared an
something in
answer.
mind? You go first if you have something already. I need to think on mine a little bit.
I don't know if I do, but maybe okay. We'll put that on our back burner, and if it pops up at any point in the episode,
Well, I would say like it's not necessarily me specifically that did it, but I think getting Speedy to shave his beard for and then commentate like the San Diego regional, right? And everyone memeing on him for that full week or so. I think that was good. That was good. That took a lot of effort, right? To put that together. Like everyone was talking about it, right? Like people were laughing about it. Like, his fiance probably didn't love it, but if we finally got him to do it, like people in production, they're making jabs at him throughout the commentating
I think
segments.
it's the best when people are like really hung up on their facial hair as well. Like
yeah.
facial
Well,
hair
it's not
hits
even that.
people
He's had it for forever too, right? We haven't even seen
yeah.
it. Yeah, I was doing like a beard tier list for a while. Like I was doing it all. Yeah. That would be mine. Because I think I obviously played the biggest role in that outside of him physically actually shaving it. Because he wouldn't have done it if he didn't lose to no bet and I kept egging him on or asking him to do it. So yeah. You don't know yours yet?
Nah.
I mean, the dumbest thing you could have done is probably that your math on this podcast. That's pretty bad. You got Zionic even laughing at that one.
Yeah. That's definitely the podcast one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll top
if
it
something
next time.
comes to me, I'll
next year when we're reflecting on it, it'll be when you're bleached your hair with a clown fit on. that's gonna be your for next year. All right. Well, reflect on that a little bit. Did you want to look at the Portland numbers?
Well, yeah, I think generally Portland. So obviously we have the Portland Regional coming up this weekend, and we've had a break of like 3 weeks, something like that, since San Antonio. So
was it 3 weeks? Wow, that went by quick. Yeah.
Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
No, you might be right. It might be 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's felt like a long time. So 2 to 3 weeks gap. And you know what the thing is that personally, I was wondering how people. Oh, I'm clipping loads. Personally, I was wondering how people would adapt, or like how the meta would develop over. Following on from San Antonio, but I guess additions of things like Skeledirge are good examples, and we've seen some interesting things in some of the Go Cups. But I guess before we dive into that, what's Portland saying? How many people are going?
82.
That's actually pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie.
82 with still some time left. There might be some last minute registrations.
Let's see how much it was last year.
Oh, for last year Portland, it wasn't big. Yeah. I remember it was pretty small. I commented that one.
Was it like 60?
But it might be similar. Was it actually only 60 something? That'd be kind of wild.
I don't know. I'm just making a guess. Let's see. 2023. What month was it?
All right, I got it.
Was
actually,
like April or something, right?
It was no. It was like February, I think. It was May actually. Okay. There was a total of 74 last year.
Oh, okay. So I guess kind of similar.
Yeah. 74. So.
Well, I mean, I think San Antonio is difficult to,
Well, I mean, West Coast tournaments tend to be a little bit on the smaller side outside of like San Diego last year. My guess is LA will be pretty big for this one too. Yeah. So,
but there's also Rubik's Masters tournament. So,
yeah,
maybe he makes a return. The world's runner-up makes a return this weekend.
He hasn't lost to anyone besides Axon.
Has not lost to anyone besides Axon.
So,
how does that make?
Let's hope I could change that. No, I prefer not to face him at all. But if he performs how he does, then I might not face him because I might get eliminated before then. So we'll see how that goes. How many are registered for Melbourne?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. Yeah,
you haven't registered. What? Why not?
Not for any particular reason. Just because, like, around the registration time, I was like, well, it's not going to fill up, so I'll just do it later, and I just haven't got around to it yet.
You got time to register now? You'll register now while I talk about other stuff. How about that?
Oh, I'm register now.
I just want to see what the numbers are. What's this Go Cups team that you're?
Well, okay. So basically, over the last few weeks, obviously, we haven't had any official tournaments to have any meta development, but we have had locals, and
yes.
This is honestly, I think I might start just like bookmarking locals across the week. And these two are from cups in particular. So or yeah, so these two are from cups in particular. So I've just sent you on Discord. This one was from a cup in Belgium, I believe. It was the one
Okay.
that Inadequence came second in, and
Yeah.
this one was Lau Jeff's in a cup in, I don't know, wherever he's from.
He's from Toronto or Canada in general.
Okay, well, I have no clue where it is, and I'm not going to look.
Yeah.
But and then obviously you've got the
less
you know,
polyrath usage.
Inadequence. Yeah, so I think that's interesting because honestly, I think at this point Polyrath is almost a staple.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not in the top cut, or it's not even in top 12 usage at in Inadequence's tournament. It's not in the top
Yeah.
3 of the performing teams. And Lyle Jeffs didn't have on his either. He had a
Which is
Vigoroth.
actually super interesting, because I
Vigoroth does
also
seem
think
pretty
it's like
safe.
one of exactly. It's one of the most. It just seems like a meta champ, right?
Dude, I can't wait to bring my Bastion to Portland. All
Saying
these
that off.
rock slide, body slam, Vigoroth. What are they gonna do?
That
What you
is
gonna
actually
do?
true.
No, the count damage still does add up pretty quick. It's not
Yeah.
it's not an easy matchup by any means, but let me just sim this actually. Because I've been in it from like start to finish, and the counter damage does actually add up. I've definitely brought in Bastion to Vigoroth loaded with energy to soak up the energy, but that's a whole different situation. All right, so how do you if you were to guess, how do you think the sims play out? I haven't simmed it yet. Rank 1 Bastion versus Vigoroth. Who do you think wins in what shielding situations?
I would assume that Vigoroth wins in the higher shielding situations
The 2,
because
yeah. 2 and 1. What about
maybe
0?
the one's close.
0, you think Bastion wins?
Yeah.
My guess is Bastion actually. Oh, actually, let's see. Oh, no, Bastion loses all even. All shielding situations. Not all even. Bastion loses all shielding scenarios still.
Oh, just straight up loses.
Yeah, even the 2-0.
Well,
yeah.
It's probably a better time than Polyrath, though. So,
but you do have to land a
even
rock side.
0.
I wonder if you go straight body slam, you might lose. No, you win straight body slam too. So it's not that great. But if you shield 2 body slam, if you're Bastion, actually even in the zeros, I guess the Vigoroth wins with 9 HP in the zeros if they're going straight body slam. But my guess is they'll probably go rock slide. With straight rock slide,
you just go straight rock slide, right?
They win with 16 HP. So it's not great. But you have a lot more play. Right. So I'll take it. I'll take Vigoroth over Bastion. But that might make more play for what's his name? Carbink.
Yeah. I think obviously Carbink did decently in the last event. I think still under explored, but maybe I don't know.
Wild Jeff's team is very weak to Skarmory though. You wall off the Gligar, you wall off the Lickitung. You have decent play into Azumarill and Whiscash and Vigoroth, and you only have true one counter, which is Charge Bug. But Skarmory might just be, I don't know. I mean, Skarmory did make these top 12 usage in Inadequence's tournament, so could be interesting.
Yeah. What do you think will what do you reckon will be like a Pokemon that comes up this weekend that wasn't on anyone's radar? So I guess last time it was pretty much Skeledirge.
I don't know if Frostless has play, because the thing is, like, Frostless is like kind of in a weird spot. Like you're worse into the Skarmory, right? And it's okay though into Charger Bug. I wouldn't be surprised to see more Frostlass usage. Lone Sandslash has been around anyway, but Lone Sandslash is so weak to Skeledirge. I think if I were to guess, there'd probably be more Lone Sandslash usage in general, but we might see a hint of Frostlass from time to time. Especially if the meta is leaning more towards Vigoroth than Poliwrath. You have a lot more play into Vigoroth, in my opinion, than Poliwrath.
That's true.
Even though they have Rock Slide. But, I mean, think about it. You got Cresselia around. You got Gligar. You got, if less Poliwrath, you got better matchups against Vigoroth. Less Lantern, you got better matchup against Chargebug. There's not much grass, but it's not like Frostless wasn't really the best for grass anyway. I think Frostless might make a slight appearance. Guzzlord's been around. I mean, it's not a great matchup, but it has play.
I feel like
Registeel users might pick up too, right? After Doombark's run, and you're not too bad to do. I think it's really just gonna be for the Gligar mainly as the increase. Because what beats Gligar?
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like
Azumarill?
it's difficult. So yeah, Azumarill seems to be like the most reliable check, and even then you can win certain shielding scenarios,
Yeah,
or like with a bit of energy.
yeah.
But I think the like up until now there doesn't seem to be a solid ice type that you can use to be
Alolan Sansa is just way too RPS in my opinion. It's strong,
yeah
but it's like it's so risky with the counter users on the teams, and now Skeldurge.
yeah.
I hope Alolan Sansa isn't making it because my team's not amazing into it either. I never learned my lesson, but I thought about it. I really dropped a Pokemon and swapped out for something else and it used to be real strong to Alolan Sandslash. I was like, I just got to give it up. Like I can't like just constantly be scared of Alolan Sandslash. Just destroy my team composition just because of that, right? So
History is just going to repeat itself again, right?
yeah, look, I'll take another second
Anyone
place
who's going to
finish. You
Portland
know,
this weekend,
it'll be a
you know which ice type to use. Yeah.
yeah. Jokes on you. I'm actually 6 times strong too. I'm just saying this just to lure you in. Yeah, come at me in Portland. But yeah,
Okay,
I
so
don't
there's
know.
actually 52 people who've registered for Melbourne, so
That's a lot.
it's pretty
That's a good
decent.
chunk,
There's still a whole
including
month
you
left, so,
yourself, right?
including me now.
That's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Um,
how many was that? Was it Sydney? Oh no, Brisbane. How many was that Brisbane?
Brisbane. I think. Well, who actually
That showed
attended?
up.
I feel
Yeah.
like it was like 43 or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
pretty. Yeah, it's
Registered, I
fairly
feel like
comparable.
was about 50 plus, but
Why did
yeah,
so
it's
many people
nice. It's
register and
nice.
not show up?
Yeah,
Because it's not free. It's not free. It's not like they need
it's
to.
really cheap though.
Oh, is it? How cheap is it?
Registration here is really cheap. It's like I think it's like $25. Wait, let me check. No,
$25.
35 Australian dollars, which is about £20, which honestly is about $30 to be honest.
Yeah, that's not too bad. How much
It's
was?
$25. It's 25 US dollars,
Oh, that's not bad at all.
which is insane because I feel
For
like some of the
yeah,
events in the
for Portland, it was
NA,
$50.
yeah, oh, that's not too bad.
What do you mean? It was twice the
I mean,
price.
yeah, I mean it's not great, but
What are we
like,
getting out of the double price
I
that
know.
you're not, right? No, for San Diego last year it was 70.
Yeah, that's the one that I remember where I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
I think Toronto was like close to it was like over 100 Canadian dollars, which is a
Yeah,
little
but
bit
what is
cheaper
that?
still.
I
No,
don't
but
know.
it's still comparable, I think. Um
I have no idea what the conversion to Canadian dollars is.
it's like 0.75.
Okay.
So it was like 115, I think. It's like 75 or so. Yeah, so sort of similar to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of nuts.
Yeah, I know.
All
It's,
right.
it's actually better cheap here. Honestly, I was so surprised.
Yeah,
I
that's pretty
was
good.
so
Well,
surprised.
I can see why there might be some no shows, but all right.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But
we're
also
gonna do some.
Melbourne, relatively
Let's do
central. I
some
feel like a
scrims.
lot of
Let's do
people.
some scrims after this. Let's do
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah. I'm
scrims.
game. I'm game. I'm game.
Let's do a set of
Actually,
5. We're in the grand finals. Set of 5. You got to
against
bracket
my age.
reset me because I'm ready. I'm undefeated, right? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you got a team of 6 ready?
I
Throw
can
down
do.
in the
I've
comments.
got. You know what?
Throw the
I've got a
predictions down in the
team.
comments. See
Okay,
who's going to take
I've got a
this.
team that I'm using this week. So,
Loser has to eat 5 jelly beans.
well, I mean, let's just say, yeah, our show 6 history
Okay, how about this? How about
is
this? How about
currently
this?
only in one direction.
How about this? Loser
Uh,
has to eat. Oh, are we gonna play best of 5?
yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's just play 5 games total, right?
Okay.
After this, we'll talk about the results next week. But the loser has to eat a jelly bean for each loss, and the winner doesn't have to eat any, right? So let's say you
Go
lose
on.
2 and you win 3. I had to eat 3. You don't have to eat any, right? At
Okay.
the beginning of next episode.
Okay.
Dude, I see. We
No,
saved the
that's
jelly
fine.
beans for a good reason. Let's go. I can't wait. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Yo, I got my notepad and everything. I've been working on a notepad, like doing the counts, right? Just like Hard Jeff, right? Like all the good players. I was like, I need to start counting. But the problem is, like, if I'm not counting right, I'm like, wait, what? I thought they were at 4. I'm like, what did I write this down for?
Yeah, I've been doing the same.
All right, I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait.
Notepad.
Huh?
Um.
Yeah.
Oh, also, while on the subject of locals, yeah, I know you people from London and surrounding areas have been looking for an event to attend. Well, this weekend
Okay.
there is a Go Challenge at
You really try and build up your old local scene before you come back.
Yeah, man. Now, honestly, shout out to Dean Oski for
Yeah.
helping organize this.
Yeah.
It's in Stanley Gibbons. So honestly, I've never heard of that before, but it's next to Strand, so it's like really central. Um, Now, yeah, it's this Saturday and it's starting at 10 a.m. So I believe it will be something along the lines of, you do the locals and then afterwards, everyone's already central. They'll
Hmm.
join up with the Central London Pogo group and then go and do,
Yeah.
what's it, the community day or something. Yeah. £5 entry, and also if you want to sign up, so I think they're not taking people on the day, so you have to kind of like message them beforehand.
Yeah.
So email jackhawkinsuk@gmail.com. So
Okay.
if you want that email, just, I don't know, message me and I can send it to you or something along those lines. But yeah, would be good to see the start of London locals. I'm surprised that it's taken this long because it's London. Do you know what I mean? I'd have thought they would have, you know, been the first, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
turns out not. But yeah,
Well, hopefully my patron will be there and sweep it all.
he's going to be there.
He's on that
He was
grind.
probably
He's on
first
that
on the
grind.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other news: Battle Frontier has been delayed by a few
Mhm.
weeks, but
Yeah,
let's
so
hope
I
that.
was looking forward to talking about that because there's some interesting metas to discuss. But to be honest, we can leave that for the week before it's
Yeah.
starting. So it's now going to be starting on the 22nd of January. So anyone who, I mean, team registrations and stuff have already expired. So obviously if you're playing or if you're not playing. But obviously, it gives people a bit more time to prepare. I believe they've changed something recently with Master League.
Hmm.
They like got rid of Mega
Zygarde or
Tyranitar or
something.
something like
Oh, really?
that.
Mega
I think
Tyranitar?
Zygarde was probably already gone, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, they've looked at Mega Tyranitar and thought that was a bit too OP. I don't know too much about the Master League, so I
Mega
don't really
Tyranitar, I
know
can
what
see
that
being
means
pretty
for
strong.
people.
Yeah, the stats are pretty
Yeah,
nuts.
I mean, one thing that people are like saying is that like how you leaving Mega or you're getting rid of Mega Tyranitar, but Mega Salamence is still available. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Because I guess technically Mega Tyranitar is a check to Mega Salamence, right? So
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
not.
so. I mean, there's a
Well,
decent amount of fairy types, though, that should
yeah,
wall off the
maybe I should
Salamence.
stop
But
commenting on Master League stuff.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some Master League
You
players are just rolling their eyes right now.
know.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about Battle Frontier as that comes along. But we got
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
events coming up. So
Mhm.
let's get into that. This is going to be kind of a hot topic to a degree. It's not our hot topic of the week, but it could be a little topic too. It is
Spicy.
January travels with Pokemon
Oh,
Go Expedition access.
mm.
Someone likes their pun at Niantic, that's for
They
sure.
made a joke.
Yeah. So January 1st to January 31st,
Wow.
so the event's already live for $5 USD or equivalent pricing in your local currency. You'll be able to access bonus and theme time research. And so the bonus is one single use incubator awarded at your first Pokemon stop or gym spin of the day. 3 times XP awarded for your first catch of the day. 3 times XP awarded for your first Pokemon stop spin of the day. Open up to 50 gifts per day. Receive 150 gifts per day from spinning Pokestop and gym photo discs, and hold up to 40 gifts in your item bag. And then there's a time research as well. Complete it to receive XP, Stardust, and encounter with Togetic. Yeah. So anyway, um, I guess you get some extra incubators really, and you get a few little extra Stardust and XP for your catches, but that's pretty much it, right? Is there any
I mean, honestly, nah. I mean, I
there's
looked
no
at it and
like
I was
what's
just,
the egg portion of this is what I'm confused about. Is it
I
just the
think
incubator?
it's the incubators because you get one per day,
Yeah, I guess you can hatch a little
so
bit more
you
eggs with
can get
that.
like 30 incubators. I think so. Like a bit off of the PV Poke was evaluating it.
Yeah, he posted on this
So
Twitter.
you can get a potential of 31 incubators
Hmm.
for $5, which is apparently roughly around 775 coins from boxes.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad, because I guess like if 100 coins is $1, then that's like, about $8. So you're getting, $8 worth of stuff for like $5. So it's not awful. But he made a good point with the fact that, obviously the later you purchase it, the less rewards you're going to get.
Yep.
Because it will only last until the end of the month. But you're still paying the same price. So at a
It's
certain point,
it's like a subscription. It's like a monthly subscription model, kind of.
yeah.
Let's see what happens in February. If they have another thing like in February, like another expedition or whatever, or something like that, I think Niantic will be leaning more towards a monthly subscription model based formats. Which,
do you think we kind of brought this on by asking for microtransactions?
did we ask for microtransactions? What do you mean? Who
I
asked for
think we did.
microtransactions?
I
I
asked for
did.
microtransactions.
Wait, why did
Well, I
you
wanted
ask?
microtransactions with like other things
PvP.
fixed.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't hate it by any means. I just know some people don't love it. So here's the thing, right? With mobile games in particular, or just any game that's free but with microtransactions, I think the thing is microtransactions can't be to the point where it makes a game impossible to stay competitive in if you play for free. And I think raids are kind of the exception to that. But I think outside of raids, maybe eggs to a degree. I think eggs were definitely part of that, like incubators back in the day, right? When stuff like Snorlax was super rare and Dratini and stuff like that, and people were hatching all these stuff. But these days, like almost everything that you would want is already out in the wild outside of Larvesta, but that's not really that meta relevant. Maybe outside of some 12-kilometer eggs, but you can still get them. You just hatch them slower. That's the thing, right? You hatch them slower, but you still get them. I think raises the one thing where like spending more money in the game actually gets you stuff that you can't get anywhere else easily, because you're going to get so many encounters with legendaries from GBL. That being said, I do think this one for the most part doesn't give people a huge advantage with the microtransaction. I don't. One of my patrons actually gifted me this ticket, so I think I actually have it, but I don't think it's particularly game breaking. Like I don't know. I personally I don't feel like, I know some people don't like it and it feels grimy and stuff, but I don't hate it. I think that's a fine way for Niantic to make money without imbalancing the game by any means. What do you think?
I think you mentioned like let's see what February says. I'll probably lean towards that as well, because at the moment I look at it and I'm like, well, none of this really interests me. But again, it's not mandatory to actually.
It's not mandatory. It's nice to have. I will say the best idea Niantic's come up with for revenue purposes in the past year or so is being able to gift tickets and event stuff to other players. That was really smart by them. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I don't think it's a big deal at all, right? Like, because if you have money to spend and you want to give to others that might not have the money to spend or don't want to or whatever, then that's great. It's a great, like, it's a very smart. And I think a lot of games that are free to play do have some of this stuff too. Like, you could gift things to other players, which is fine in my opinion. So
yeah, I've got that feature turned off, and it's because I think it was.
Were you too popular?
I think, huh?
You too popular?
It's getting too many,
yeah.
This is
yeah. Everyone's saying gifting Anicor stuff. Comment down below. We're gonna have 0 comments next episode.
Now you know what? There was a community day, right? And I had the research gifted to me, yeah. But I wasn't planning to play that community day. I think I was in Thailand at the time, and like I wasn't really nearby anything. It was like, and it was one of the less important community days of the year. But I now had the research, yeah, and that research was stuck in my research area for the whole year.
Yeah, until you finally caught enough Noibats.
Yeah, it was the Noibat.
Oh, it was the Noibat one?
Yeah, it was long.
That was a triple Stardust event too.
Yeah, I know. I
get it. If you weren't able to play, you weren't able to play.
But. Yeah, I was training at the time as well. So I was like, if I was going to play, I'd have to maybe go into town, and then I can't train for today, and then I was like, oh, it's a bit
Right.
too much. So, but yeah, man, I had that Noibat research in my research for
So funny. It's
ages,
actually annoyed that.
so long, and after that, I was like, nah, man. I was like, imagine I get gifted stuff every single time, and realistically, come on, how many am I actually going to complete, even if it's good?
Yeah. So what Anicor says,
Question.
save your money, don't gift them anything.
Save your money. Don't give me anything. I appreciate the sentiment, but save your money. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate the event. I think it's okay, all things considered. We do have an actual event coming up though. It's a Lycanroc one, if I'm not mistaken. Dark form Lycanroc during a lustrous
Dark
Odyssey.
form.
It's a debut.
Oh, I didn't.
We don't have the dark form yet. And I think the
Oh,
dark form actually, I think, is one of the
Dusk
better
form,
ones.
Dusk.
Oh, sorry, dust form. Sorry, dust form.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said dark form, dust form. But dust form, I think, is one of the better ones for PP, if I'm not mistaken.
So I checked it up, and it looks like I want to say slightly worse midnight form. So it's still very glassy, but I think one of the
Is the midnight form the better one?
I think so, yeah. But I like, because there's 2 out of the 3 forms that have counter, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So Lycanroc.
So yeah.
Okay, so in terms of
midnight
movesets,
is way better
this
than
one,
midday for sure. But
yeah,
is there
midday
movesets
doesn't have
released?
counter. Midday doesn't
Midday
have counter.
doesn't.
So this is going off what PV Poke has uploaded. So I'm assuming these movesets are correct.
Well, we don't know. They can always change it before release, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, we'll make the assumption for now.
Yeah. It's also pure rock.
Yeah. So also pure rock also has counter the same as midnight form. Get sucker punch, which honestly, if they have a buff sucker punch, it could be interesting. Like, it's not an awful move. I feel like it's like one upgrade away from being a decent.
Yeah. It has rock throw
move.
as well and counter, just like midnight form.
But it doesn't have, so it's got a load of different charge moves. Yeah, I think because Psychic Fangs is so cheap and they're both really glassy, so I think that's one advantage.
Because you could also just count them down after throwing Psychic Fangs, whereas you have Crunch, Iron Head, Stone Edge, and Trailblaze on Dust form. Midnight form, you have Stone Edge, Crunch, Psychic Fangs, Trailblaze. So you're just dropping Iron Head for Psychic Fangs on the Midnight form, which I would say you would rather have Psychic Fangs than Iron Head. Yeah. The stat product is a lot worse too from Dust form. Yeah. So it's glassier. It hits a little bit harder, but it's got less defense and less stamina. So it's about like 100 less stat product in Ultra League. Oh no, in Great League. Sorry, in Ultra League, I mean it's still gonna be less by all means.
Yeah,
but
it looks pretty much the same.
Oh my gosh, in Ultra League it's like it's over 200 less stat product.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, I guess. But
I don't know if Lycanroc gets. Obviously, it won't be anytime soon. But if it has a signature move,
yeah,
because that'd be kind of interesting. Because obviously, all 3 would get it. Accelerock is its signature move, and it's a rock type move. So maybe that could be interesting in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Future.
I think I have a decent rank one for Dust form actually.
But I got some really good rank ones, for all 3.
Oh really?
Yeah, I got some good trades.
Watch out Melbourne. Watch
out, everyone.
This event is from this Saturday, actually 6th to the 10th to Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So the question is where's the Lycanroc? Is it just that you could evolve it? Like, is there what's that pre-evolution called again? The Rockruff. Is Rockruff actually spawning anywhere? I don't know. It's not in wild encounters.
But it's in raids and in more eggs.
I love that. Research encounters. It's in research encounters. I'll take that.
Yeah. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And also you got Hisuian Growlithe and Hisuian Sneasel in those research encounters, which personally I think are still kind of useful. Like
Warriors back in race 2 for 3 stars in case you missed that event. Yeah. You got Morlo in the wild, which is nice for Stardust purposes. That's about it.
I don't understand how you evolve it though, because it says that you have. Okay, so it says, wait, because it says somewhere that you have the chance for it to become Dusk form. So I don't really understand how it evolves.
Maybe you just got to select one or the other. How do you evolve it right now? Is this like nighttime? You evolve the midnight one?
I have no clue.
What? You haven't evolved? You have all these
Yeah, that
fantastic
probably help.
Rockruff you haven't evolved. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a few bonuses to this too. So increased frequency of buddy bring souvenirs to you. Okay, that's something I actually don't really understand. What are the points of these souvenirs from your buddy Pokemon? I know there's some people in Niantic listening. Is there a plan for that? Blink twice if there
it's
is,
been
right?
years.
Yeah, like what is exactly like these ripped up tickets, these little marble things that they have, and I feel like they don't even save all of the souvenirs they get. Like I've gotten
Yeah,
souvenirs from a
'cause
bunch, and there's like a limit they could save, and it's just like gone after a while. So like,
yeah.
what does the souvenirs do? Like, what am I going to do with the souvenir besides adding a buddy heart, right? Like, what? Like, give me something. Can I sell it? That'd be nice. You could sell the
Hey,
marbles and stuff for some
hey,
Pokecoins. Like, that's what you could do
bro,
in the
this
main series
is
game. You could sell some stuff, right, for actual
I thought
currency.
this was gonna be like RuneScape all over again, like
What do you mean
selling
RuneScape?
to other trainers, you know?
Oh, you don't know my
Uh,
that's not my RuneScape story. Don't
making
see. You better win Melbourne if you
no.
wanna hear it before episode 150. But your
Imagine a
buddy,
whole market of tropical, was it tropical flower? Yeah.
what? I don't
This
know what you're
is one
talking
of the
about.
souvenirs.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably. Event bonuses. Your buddy will also spend more time on the map after being fed berry or poffins. That's okay. It just allows
that's
your
cute.
Pokemon to get like more XL candies while you're walking and buddy hearts and stuff. Increased frequency of buddy Pokemon bring you presents. What? Wait, so there's a souvenir and there's a presents. I
Yeah,
guess the presents are just like
presents are like the
Pokeballs,
berries
right?
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
berry.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just a better buddy Pokemon like event, I guess. And
Mhm.
then Rock of Hatch from eggs received as Adventure Sync rewards during Pokemon Go may have a chance to evolve into Dusk from Lycanroc. Wait, so it's like they have a chance to evolve into it, but
I don't understand. I don't get that bit, but I also don't know
did
how it
they
evolves.
evolve right when you hatch them? I don't. What does that phrasing mean? I'm so confused.
Maybe I
I don't
should
know.
check out.
So so it's also confused because the phrasing of the dust form is starting with this event Rockruff that some not all some Rockruff that trainers hatch or
Some
encounter will be able to evolve instead of it. So that means that any previous one you encountered before can't evolve in the dust form. You better start transferring the ones you have for dust form then.
Oh, that's
Okay, this is
I
getting
don't
kind
do
of
that. I got
weird
loads.
now. I don't know. I'm not liking the sound. This is getting
Okay,
kind of
okay.
fun.
So currently it's a daytime nighttime thing.
Okay. But so what
So
is
that
this
doesn't
like? The
really
some
make
Rockruff
sense.
is what's throwing me
Yes,
off.
I
It's
don't
making it
know.
seem like not all Rockruff you acquire during this event you can even evolve in the dust form.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Niantic, don't make this more difficult than it has to be. Come on now. We
Yeah,
just talked about
I
how.
want to be able to evolve these ones because otherwise it's going to be a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, luckily it's not very PvP relevant, so we'll give it that.
exactly. Yeah.
We'll touch base next week and see, but don't be surprised if only some of your Rockruff can evolve and not all of them. That might be a slight L, but we'll see how that goes. We do have a Porygon Community Day Classic. Nothing crazy, but
Do
it
you
is
know
the
what?
20th.
Honestly, I feel like the biggest Pokemon that got a hit when Zap Cannon got debuffed, yeah, or when Zap Cannon got nerfed, was Porygon, man.
Don't say the biggest. It's Registeel. It may be the second
Porygon.
biggest.
It was
Why would it not be
Porygon.
Registeel? Registeel got a huge hit. I
Porygon was
lost
lit.
in Game 4 in the Grand Finals bracket recess to Ramberto because I threw 2 Zapcan debuffs and lost to Umbreon.
Yeah,
And he shielded both Zap
unfortunate
cannons too. It
karma,
wasn't
yeah.
like he shielded the focus box and let the Zap cannon go.
Uh,
I was like, wait, how am I losing Registeel versus Umbreon right now? I couldn't even shield to win the switch advantage. I didn't go down shields. I just didn't shield the second one because I knew I'd get outpaced.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely Reggie felt it, but yeah, I thought it was cool when Porygon did have 100% Zap Cannon because I was like, oh, this kind of makes it, you know, sort of borderline viable, like maybe Porygon 2.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
now it's pretty average.
But this will be Saturday, the 20th, January 20th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you don't have your Porygon Z with Tri-Attack, definitely be sure to do it. I don't know. It is what it is. It's not a huge one, but obviously for those that missed it, good chance to get it back. But yeah, that's our Community Day Classic one. Triple XP for catches, I think, but that's about it for that. Anyway, that does it for our events this upcoming week or so / month. We have a few GPL stuff. Oh, what's the ELO check?
Oh, bruv. honestly, I don't know if I hit veteran yet. And I'll be honest, I just haven't played in days, so
What am
um,
I stressing
kind
for? I
of
ain't
it's
stressed
kind
about.
of holding me
Okay, you
back.
know what? I
What
want
you
to
on?
apologize to the audience. I should be trying harder because we want to see more clown fits ASAP, right? We want to make sure we get the full fit for Anicor. The longer I take, the less time he's going to be dressed up. I'm at 27:56.
Okay,
I
yeah.
haven't been
I
playing a
had
ton
to.
either. I'm honestly, I might
Yeah,
be around the same battles. What's your total battles? Let's check the total battles again because
the
you were
total battle
shell shocked last week when
is 426.
426. I'm at
Yeah,
453. I'm
yeah,
not
that's
that much
nice.
ahead of you. Yeah. Just one day of sets.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
skill
I had to make
difference.
a conscious
Look,
decision.
when
I was
he's
like,
eating 5 jelly beans next week, no one be surprised, you know? No one be surprised. We might have a guest on next week too, and he's gonna have to do it in front of the guest. I didn't even
I'm
tell you
gonna
about
get
the
on
guest
it.
idea,
I'm
but I
gonna
have
get
one
on
in
it
mind.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
All right.
speaking of
What's the
GBL,
butt?
we have Little Cup at the moment.
We
Well, we
do.
have Open
Little
Great League at the
holiday.
moment.
Little holiday.
Yeah, I think one thing that's sick about Open Great League is I've been catching up on some YouTube videos, and it seems like there's a lot of people who are leaderboarding with really interesting ones,
Yeah, possibly.
um,
Yeah.
which I
Really good
think is
ones.
cool. You know,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who complain about. I mean, there's people who complain about
People complain
everything.
about everything. I
Yeah.
heard a lot of people
So,
complain about Scald, but I kind of like where Scald's at. What do you think? I don't
um,
mind Scald. I don't mind. Yes, it's a strong move, but it is a more energy costing move. It's not like Surf, right? Or Weather Ball.
yeah,
So it's going to cost some energy. And I don't mind the 50%. Honestly speaking, 50%, in my opinion, I'd rather have than 33%. Because 50% is consistent enough that you can go for the debuff strategy, whereas 33 feels like you need this Hail Mary on the first debuff to win it, right? Whereas
I mean,
50%, it's
yeah.
common enough that if I'm the player, I'm expecting a debuff. I'm not surprised.
That's true. Yeah. I think the thing is, I think everyone's going to have that perspective of like when it does go off and changes the game, they're
Yeah.
like, oh well, it was RNG influence, you know. And when it doesn't go off and changes the game, it was RNG influence. But I don't know. I think this is just the nature of RNG in general, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Pokemon, unfortunately, incorporates RNG into the game, like
VGC
in
even way
all the
more.
games. You know, VGC has so much, and the thing is that like one thing, you know, we're not as used to it, right? But obviously, VGC players are, and the approach that many top players take is, you know, I'm clicking this move fully knowing that I'm gonna miss a move this number of times in the tournament, and I can't be mad when it happens because I locked into that, you know. So I
Yeah.
think a good example is there's a lot of people who don't use Stone Edge, right? And in
And
VGC I
VGC.
think it's 85, yeah, and I think it's 85% accurate. um and you know, a lot of people are just like, well, you know, you're going to miss Stone Edge when you really need it. An interesting perspective is actually there's, I think it was, I don't know if it was at Worlds last year or if it was just generally last year. There was a lot of Japanese players who did use Stone Edge, right? And their thought about it was they were like, well, yeah, there's going to be times we miss, but we're using it at times when we can afford to miss, and the miss isn't really too much of an issue, right? So I think you can kind of translate that to here, where let's look at Poliwrath again, Icy Wind, Scald, right? If you need to get that debuff, yeah, but you're going for the Scald, then you're gambling with yourself. You could really settle for that Icy Wind. So that's kind of on you, do you know what I mean? But if you're in a position where you can afford to take that 50% risk, if you don't get the debuff, you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage, then you go for the Scald.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just a case of like, how you approach your moves when you're playing with these, RNG moves.
Yeah, me personally though, I just think the higher percentage is better. It feels less bad when when you need to rely on it or when you're getting hit. Like it feels way worse. I guess like if you're playing Master League and you see a Giratina boost on you, ominous win, you're like,
Yeah,
dude, or like an ancient power boost because you already know the percentage is really low, right?
that's
And
true.
so you're like, oh, dude, this was the only win con to boost on this, and it's so low. Whereas if I knew it was a 50% chance of a boost or no boost, then I'm like, all right, well, like I mean that was a coin flip, but it was probably gonna
That's true.
happen. It feels way worse to lose when their win con's so small. It feels way better when you lose when the win con was already decently high or a coin flip. That's my
I
thought, at
guess
least.
also like some shielding decisions are essentially coin flips as well. So I guess
Yeah,
we like
exactly. Yeah, we're already going off of that in some respects. But I feel like I mean, people also feel a little more agency with that because that's your choice to bait or not bait, into shield or not
yeah,
shield.
that's
Whereas
true.
with the RNG, is there's nothing in your control.
Yeah.
I think it feels bad though when it's like an Octazooka because you debuff by what 2 attack stages, right?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that's super
Or like the
annoying.
leaf tornado, I guess is like
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah. The double
yeah.
attack stage is a lot more annoying. I will say that,
Mm.
but it's a single stage. I don't know. I think Scald is fine in its current
Yeah,
format.
I don't personally have any bad
Yeah.
thoughts on it, to be honest. It is definitely a very powerful move. I think that's interesting. The
I
fact
like the
that it
damage
is
on
so,
it.
so much
And
damage.
unless you get rid of the debuff completely, I like it at 50. But
Yeah,
that's my take.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
bad.
I don't know. Should we talk about the teeth topic?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask you quickly. Do you even play Little Cup?
I did. I played
Because
some Little Holiday Cup. I play as much as I can for my patrons that want like different options. So here's my Little Cup team. Actually, it's a Little Holiday Cup, right? So my Holiday Cup team, for context, was Wigglytuff, Vigoroth, and Palossand. And
okay.
Palossand being the shutdown for Safe Swap Vigoroth.
Did you just make a Little Cup version?
Self plagiarism at its finest. Wigglytuff lead, Vigoroth, and I have a Litwick. Because
Okay.
Palisand's not as good, right? So, but you still have something that kind of walls off
Is
the
Sandigas not like viable?
it's not as good.
Like
Yeah, Litwick is
no,
actually
it's
pretty strong
not good.
though. It's
Yeah.
really strong,
Okay.
and Charmers are very strong in Little Cup because if you're doing neutral charm damage, it
Yeah.
chunks.
Just do
Like you
those.
charm Vigoroth can only get one Bysam off against Wigglytuff before it gets charmed down. So a lot of times in neutral matchups, I just shield the Wigglytuff and stay in. Like
Yeah.
even if like I have better answers in the back, I just stay in because the alignment and the debuff too, because they have to shield everything. They have to shield Icy Wind. There's no way they can't shield it. They have to shield Icy Wind to disarm voice. Even if they come in Fire type Pokemon, they're like contemplating like shielding it.
This is some joke cup, you know. Like the thing is,
Yeah,
I
and
know
there's a
that there's
lot
a
of
lot of
DGen
people
teams.
like
There's a lot of Shadow Vic, like
there's a
Rockhold
lot of
teams, so
people
like
that are big
Alolan
fans of
Gold
Little
Shield
Cup as
dudes.
well, but I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
huge fan, but it does go by quick, which is kind of nice. And does like
That's good, yeah.
the strategy is
I
very
think
different though.
the
You
only
have to shield
time I ever
everything.
played Little Cup was I remember it was like I think it was the Euros final like 2 years ago or something like that. And there was also Go Battle Weekend on the same weekend. And I was like, well, I'm not getting any battles done because I'm watching this. And then I was like,
Oh, it was
I
also
could
Master League
play-
or Little Cup. Was that what it was? Or you like one
I
or the
think
other,
maybe,
and you had to go low
And like
element?
realistically, Master League requires you to actually engage. But I was like,
Yeah.
with Little Cup, I could just put in like 3 fast move pressure ones and just sit there watching like this, you know,
Yeah, you can.
and just tap. And it
You
was
can.
mildly successful, you know, in terms of that. Like, you know, I got some wins by not actually looking at my screen, so that was kind of funny.
So you're playing. Well, I get some of that too at
That was the only
Bastion.
time I was
I've been
playing.
running Bastion Great League. Oh my gosh, the teams are 88 weak. They'll have like a Skarmory lead with like a Charge Bug in the back, and I'll
Oh,
draw out their only like counter to like Bastion with like a Lickitung or something, and then I come in
game
I
over.
come in I come in Bastion to their Skarmory. They swap in Charge Bug and just top left. I'm like cleaning it up. Little preview for Portland. If I do say so myself, but yeah, you've been just playing Great League or just not playing at all?
I've just not been playing it at all, but it's mainly been like for like some personal reasons. And yeah, I was like a decision of like, okay, do I force myself to play or do I not play and then start playing when I'm more comfortable with playing again? So I decided to take the second option. I think the second option is important.
Nothing more comfortable than wearing a clown fit while GBLing.
I had to weigh
bleach
up
hair.
that. I definitely did weigh that up as well. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna place my bets on me just, you know,
get your hair
making a
nice
big
and trimmed for that bleach hair. You know, just get the cut you want, and then you'll be traveling the world with the bleach hair.
Do you know what the thing is though? It probably won't even look that bad. So
that's a sign of defeat right there. You're already thinking about it.
Just
Like,
saying, nah,
you know,
just
what
saying.
would I look like? You know,
I have to resort to it. I don't think it will look that bad. So.
Oh boy, we gotta up it next season. You're gonna be like no eyebrows or something.
I don't watch. Like I said, next season I'll be back in London. It's a different ball game, but it's a different
the same thing for a year straight.
It's a different ball game.
What's the tea this week? Break it down for us.
Oh, Sniping. Yeah. So it started off with Brazilian leaderboard player and regular retiree João Victor, who or
Oh, he retires a
sure,
lot.
he retires every season.
Oh,
Yeah, he retires and then still makes it to Legend 3500.
no one's.
Funny.
He's not retiring.
He is probably the most retired. Yeah,
More
but
than the
then
Nut 93.
oh, bruv, this, yeah, because you know what, the Nut's actually not, hasn't been playing in play Pokemon. So, bruv, João Victor,
João Vitor plays in the official tournaments too.
retired. Nah, because he's too young, unfortunately. I think.
Oh, he's too young. How old is he?
Yeah, the Brazilian, they have the consent
Yeah.
age, so like no under 18s can play in regionals.
Oh, he's young. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But anyway, João Victor was being sniped, I guess, by Elite using a Darumaka, which was kind of
Does
funny.
João Victor stream? Oh, he does stream, right? I think I've
So
seen him stream before.
yeah, I don't know if he streams or like I know he definitely streams internally. Maybe he streams.
I think he does stream on Twitch. Actually, I think I might have rated him or seen him stream once.
So yeah, he got sniped, and he made a little post about it, and I think the post turned into a bit of a joke because
Was João
I don't
Victor
know if
actually mad about it?
he was, but the
Oh,
thing
he
is
was.
that
That post was
initially,
serious.
yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, I
Initially,
didn't know.
he was mad about it, but then he kind of like let it evolve into a joke, and then he made a follow up post being like, "Look, I actually was mad about it, and I don't think I should let it be a joke because
How do
that's
you
kind of
spell João
ignoring the fact
Victor?
that I'm like not too Joao, Joao, and maybe there's an X right at the beginning, like X Joao." So yeah, he made a follow-up post afterwards, talking about how he actually was annoyed at it. And you know what? I see one part. So he was saying like, he's got some like personal things he's going through, and then generally he so here, let me send you the thing.
Oh, dude, I thought that was a complete joke post when I read it.
Yeah. And do you know what the thing is that like,
Yeah, send it to me if you have it.
Yeah. So here's the follow up that he made. So it's like a proper long document in it.
What is a document?
Yeah.
Wait, why is it a document?
He just wrote a lot.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me read it for you all from Zhao.
Okay.
It's just so sad to see what's happening in the community. In all my years at GPL, I've never experienced something so absurd and uncomfortable. I play GPL so I can improve as a player and have some goal within the game. But with constant snipes, not only from North America players, but from Asia as well, it bothers me. And this has always existed, really. But I've never seen reports as active as the current ones. It's something outside the game. I'm going through difficult times in my life, daily stress. My cockatoo, I think it's his bird, almost died. Family members with health complications, as well as other day-to-day things that get me down. If that's not enough, players with non-existent ethics and a lack of respect and consideration for the other side come along and spoil the existence of those who want to play for entertainment or for those who just want to have some objectives. No, I deleted the previous post because I would become a joke to the whole world, being known as a whiner, but that's not it. I just have common sense. I'm not an immature player. I've never disrespected anyone in the international community. I'm fully aware of that. I honestly don't know why there's all this nonsense against me. You may not care, but many people play this game to have some fun. Your fun causes intrigue in the community that could be avoided if there was maturity, but there isn't. I can't imagine when I meet players like these. I wonder when I meet players like these in person, people without any character and having to unfortunately look them in the face and try to disguise something. It doesn't seem to be like this. Everyone can play their game calmly. If you want to snipe those who don't care, those who will have fun with you, but not those who don't want to / don't like it. Please have a minimum of respect. Interesting.
Yeah. See,
I was so
now,
confused
okay.
because
So
when this
then,
tweet was shown to me originally, I was like, "Oh, that's gotta be a joke post." Like I thought, like he was like, it was like a copy pasta kind of situation.
Yeah. And I think obviously this is why he made this follow up, and we did also. So it wasn't just Joao that had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
World champion Itzaxon also seemed to have an issue with it as well because he was also getting sniped. So I think he's deleted his tweets regarding it, or like most of his tweets regarding it.
Yeah.
But now here's the thing, right? So my perspective is obviously a bit of an outside perspective because I'm not a leaderboarder. I've not been in that situation. But
You're
the
not a
thing is,
streamer.
I'm like, but you may have a bit more insight into it because you've obviously been at that elo range where it's possible to snipe people.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like, look, you don't I want to say you don't pick who you play. Like, okay, obviously you don't pick who you play. You can make a team that hard counters someone, but then
Yeah.
it's likely that you may pair up into someone else who you're going to lose to, right?
Uh-huh.
So, if you're choosing to snipe someone, you're obviously doing so at the potential cost of your elo. And so you're already putting something on the line yourself. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. From a person who's getting sniped, I mean, your goal is to overcome every challenge that you face, regardless of who you're playing, right? So personally, I just feel like I'm not saying it's a part of the game, but it's kind of like nobody's really manipulating anything. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I feel like that's just like okay, one part that Joao said in his thing about how people like to have fun. Well, people like to have fun in different ways. You get a lot of casual people who don't like to play GBL because they're like, well, I don't like the fact that people play with Pokemon that actually do something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, from a PvP perspective, you're like, well, that sounds wild because I find that as fun, right? So personally, I don't know, I don't think it's as big of a deal as these two are making it, but I don't know. A lot of people seem to be on their side. What's your take on it?
Uh, so I will say my perspective is a little different. I definitely have been in leaderboard positions where I could be sniped. But I don't really stream my battles. I stream my battles to my patrons weekly, but that's about it. Outside of that, I just do my sets at home all the time. So the me getting sniped, like I've been sniped maybe like once or twice, but it's when I'm streaming to the public and like it's just someone in my chat that does it and they bring something fun. That like hard counters me some like a Kabutops and a low executor. So, but I don't know. It doesn't happen to me very often, so I just laughed it off and I was like, no big deal. I actually won that one too, though. So there was that. But I don't know. It's like I think it depends, right? For some people, especially Zhao Victor, like if he can't play in the official tournaments, this is GBL is as competitive as it could get, right? Because he can't physically compete at the official tournament stuff, so he could compete in the in-game ladder. I think he was like second to hit legend like one of the previous seasons as well. After JW Naldo, I believe. So like, definitely a very high skill trainer that and especially if you are racing to hit legend or just climbing the leaderboards or trying to
Yeah.
get GBLA. And the accent obviously someone that's very competitive as well. I think me personally, I just don't put as much value into GPL, which is why I don't do all my sets all the time. I don't like try hard all the time. Like half the time I'm like watching YouTube or Netflix in the background. I'm like starting the game late a few turns because I'm just like actually not even looking at my
You
screen
forgot you
between
started.
the queues. Yeah. Um, so me personally, I wouldn't really mind it. Like I'd probably laugh it off if I did get sniped from Elite if I'm running it. But I think at the same time, like it does, if you do these kind of things, you always have to consider the consequences. Like you can't like. I think when Axon made a post about it, Elite first responded saying, "My apologies, and I will make my amends by by sniping you again tomorrow at your stream time." Right? Like he doubled down on the joke, and a lot of his friends liked it. That was funny.
Yeah.
Uh it's it is what it is. I don't think like it's the most heinous thing in the world, but I do think like I think it could be borderline some type of bullying mentality to a degree, right? It makes people feel uncomfortable and stuff, and it's a total line situation. It's kind of like BMing on stage at a tournament, right?
Right.
Is it the right thing to do? Like sometimes it could be funny, right? Sometimes it could be the right situation. Sometimes if you're the one losing, sure, like you throw a BM, like your opponent's gonna laugh, like oh, they already won the game, whatever, right? If you beat someone so badly and you BM them after and they feel bad about it, like that's a consequence you had to deal with because you caused that uncomfortability to them, right? You caused what you maybe didn't expect to be embarrassing for them, for them to feel embarrassed and feel bad about themselves and whatever. That's just my caution. You know, I personally like don't have any desire to snipe people, but at the same time, like I think if that's your thing, I'm not going to be the one to demonize people for it, because again, that's not my GBL's not very high up in my values of things.
Mhm.
But I think it's important to be careful about, if you do choose to do it, who you do it for. And I know
I
that
think you make
Leighton
a
accent, I definitely like made up on it or talked about it too.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if him and Zhao Vitor did or not, but
I don't know. I think there's no thingy of that in it, but
yeah.
yeah, I think you make
Dude,
a good point
honestly,
about
man,
how
at
it
least the
depends
great
on.
battler and stuff, dude, you must have ran out of hobbies during this winter break or something. Like, come on now. Play some Pokemon Unite or something. Like, play a different game if you're that bored. I mean, I guess, like, at the
I
same time, too, he
mean,
might not take GBL very seriously. So it's like, wow, what else am I going to do? Right?
yeah. Also, bruv, you know what the thing is? Yeah, like I don't know if it's a case of like when you're in school, you just have a lot of free time, but obviously that's why a lot of these, younger players are really good because they have a lot of time to dedicate into it. So, I guess,
That's your excuse for why you're
yeah,
not better
that
than them, right?
kind of comes. That's
Because
my
they're in
excuse.
school and you're not.
Just ain't got the time, bro. It's
Ain't
not.
got the
It's not
time.
like back in school days.
No, no, definitely not. You have more time when you're
Yeah.
back in London, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it works. Yeah,
uh,
I think you make a good point as well about how I guess it does come on to like a personal basis with how someone's going to react to it, and I guess that's also the case with just any sort of joke, right?
yeah, that's a great point
Jokes
too.
always depend on
Your audience and
yeah, exactly, in it. So if you're doing a joke with a friend and you know that they're going to take it as a joke, then it's fine. If you're doing a joke with someone and they don't take it well, um, then I guess that's a sign to just not do that joke again in the future.
yeah. The
Um,
thing is, in life, not everyone's going to like you. In fact,
mhm.
everyone's not going to like you, no matter what you do. Even if you do
Everyone's not
right,
gonna like.
like yeah, no, I'm just saying it. Like no matter what,
Yeah,
right? Even if like the nicest person in the world, there's going to be people that are going to find a way to hate on you. They're like, oh, they're just being
yeah,
fake nice, or they don't seem genuine, or like I hate their like little like them offering me stuff all the time, like they're just annoying, whatever. Like there's always going to be people that aren't going to like you regardless, you
I've
know,
actually
and
been in that
yeah,
situation.
you probably have, right? There's some people that are like so nice and they
I've
annoy people
disliked
because they're
someone
so
because they're
nice.
too, but
Yeah.
it feels like they were begging it. You know what I mean?
But exactly. I mean, I'm sure you have
Yeah,
their take and they have theirs. Maybe they were genuine, maybe they're not, right? Maybe you're right. But I think at the end of the day, like not everyone's gonna like you. But at the same time, like you shouldn't also take
Mhm.
it as, well, if not everyone's gonna like you, I'm just gonna be uh, kind of just like screw with people anyway and make fun of them or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like
true,
I think
true.
there's ways to take it. So there's that. Not everyone's gonna like you, right? No matter what you do. But at the same time,
Mhm.
if you push the line too much, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't like you. And if you're okay
Yeah,
with that, that's fine, right? And I think the comedy example is great because a lot of comedians toe that line between what's appropriate and what's
mhm,
not. Some comedians are too PC, like they just don't make it big, right? No one even likes because like
mhm.
they don't get controversial at all, or people think their jokes are just boring. And there's people that like make like I was listening to one comedy sketch on Netflix, like the official Netflix segment, like comedy sketch, and this guy made a domestic violence joke to start off. And I mean, you're making that face. They're like, "Ooh, I don't know about that," right? A lot of the
Yeah.
audience laughed, and he even said, "Like, hey,
Okay.
if y'all can handle that joke, then we're good to go, right? It don't get darker than this." But he got a lot of backlash the moment he did it on the internet and
Mm,
stuff.
yeah,
But you know, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not saying that's a joke I make,
yeah.
but that's a gamble that comedians make on a regular basis, and
In
that's a
this
gamble you'd
situation, your
make on a
audience,
regular basis if you're sniping
yeah,
people. Is my analogy here? Yeah.
yeah. In this situation, I guess your audience are people you either know or don't know. Personally, if it was someone I didn't know, I probably wouldn't care. Do you know what I mean? And I'd probably just carry on doing it because I don't know them and their opinion on what I do just is irrelevant for me. But
Yeah.
it's like if you're friends with someone and they have a problem with it, then maybe it stops snapping. And obviously that's what happened
Yeah.
because like you said, Axon and Elite did have a talk about it.
Yeah. There's definitely like at this like my worst advice to the people that are getting sniped that are streamers as well. And of course, like this is just my worst advice. You can ignore or disagree with it. But I think at the end of the day, if you're gonna be a content creator, me personally, I don't think it's worth getting too upset over it. because there's going to be like, as a content creator and as a like a public figure to a degree, or as a world champ and stuff, as an accent, you you're going to have haters regardless, and you're going to have people that mess with you, and they're trying to get a reaction out of you, right? I mean, Elite might still snipe him every single day, even if he laughs about it and doesn't care. But you know that Elite was definitely motivated to snipe him the second time around when he saw the first time around, it pissed him off, right? And like, it's kind of like, and I know Accent has done this, so, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen YouTubers throughout the years in Pokemon Go and just other spheres in general, they'll post on Twitter about their hate comments, be like, man, they were so mean to me about this. Who cares? There's some random nobody on Twitter or on YouTube that said this. When I see that, I screenshot it and make fun of them, right? If you're gonna hate on me, I'm gonna make some content out of this, right? That's how I created my critique corner, because someone believed in the algorithm, right? And it was all because of this. I went back and forth with them. I actually had someone recently do that. I went back and forth with them too on this. Right? I don't mind having discussion with my haters, whatever. Yeah. Squirrel Trapper, where you at, right? You think we're scared? No, I ain't worried at all, right? It doesn't bother me at all.
You could be the guest stars.
Yeah. If Squirrel Trapper or some hater on this podcast kept hating on it and it bothered us, they're getting what they want, right? I don't care. You're a bunch of random nobody sitting behind a computer. Even if you're not nobody, come at me, right? Hey, better engagement for us, more engagement, more trending. Like, you're helping our views. Like, like, if I'm on your mind, I'm living rent free. Thank you, right? I'll take it. But anyway, I think that's the thing. Obviously, like, every content creator is different, right? And certain things affect them differently. And I know, like, I can't just say just because it doesn't affect me that it shouldn't affect others. But that would just
you have to be aware of the territory.
You have to be aware of the territory, and I think me personally, right? This is just my take, so you can feel free to disagree with it. I think long term, if you want to be a content creator, you can't let these things get to you, because it's going to really wear down your mental health and stuff, right? You can't be worried so much about what others say, right? You have to believe in yourself and be confident in yourself, and like, do your thing. And if they're making fun of you, just make fun of them back. I mean, you can try to kill them with kindness, but these are internet trolls. You ain't killing them with kindness, right? That's just fuel to their fire, So, and maybe that won't do anything to you if you make fun of them back, but
you can always mute them, time them out.
Yeah, you can mute them, time them out, block them, whatever. Like, I mean,
imagine if you got involved in every Twitter post that you don't agree with.
Yeah. There's some people that do that.
No time. I don't understand it.
I see people do that, and I look at their reply comments. I go to them. There's like a bunch of random nobodies that have like 2 followers, and they're just commenting. And like, I don't know. Some of them makes me think that maybe there's like, they might need some therapy or something else going on in their life and stuff like that. But it's just like, there's some like all people that are just too consumed by this, and you just can't let it get to you. Yeah. Resilience, man. It's a key part of it.
Yeah.
Don't let the haters get to you. But
and if you are a hater out there, bruv,
if you're a hater, drop some comments down below for us. I'll take some haters any day. You haven't made it if you don't have haters, and if you have some haters, and you don't have enough, you still haven't made it. Yeah, look at Pokemon's Twitter. Oh my gosh, she be having haters everywhere. Pokemon.
Oh right.
Yeah, she has haters all over the place. That's when you know you made it. That's when you know you made it. Yeah. I mean, some of it's also sexism too, which is a little unfortunate, but that's a whole different set of issues. Anyway, that does it for us, I think. We got some battles to do. Let us know down below. How many jelly beans you think I'm eating or he's eating, right? And me and Anicor, right down below, right? 5-0, 3-2, Hey, I'm going to be really eating my words and some jelly beans next week if I lose.
I think so.
You think so?
I think you're going to be...
All right, how about this? Let's put you on the spot right now. Double or nothing?
Double or nothing for the jelly beans?
Yeah, so like if you lose 5 times, you have to eat 10.
Jelly beans as well, maybe.
No, for a loser has to eat double the amount they lose.
Okay. Only the loser eats double the amount.
Only the loser, winner doesn't eat anything, regardless.
Okay, yeah. No, but like if it's like 3-2 to me...
Yeah, I eat 6, you eat 0.
Is that how it works? Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go.
Oh, you feeling confident?
Let's go.
Yo, when this man's pouring out 10 jelly beans next to you, I'm hearing the little shakes and stuff. There's no way you can avoid 10 bad ones.
There's no way. All right, let's
Listeners, I'm going to do my best. All right. I already know he going to run some BBML lines, right? Anicor playing it safe, right? You're going to be the safest thing in the world. I made adjustments to my team for Portland this morning that I haven't even tested yet. So we'll see how it goes. Look, if I'm eating 6, 8 jelly beans next week, like it is what it is. I ain't no way I'm eating 10. There's no way I'm losing all 5. I might lose 4 if I'm having a really bad day, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks all for tuning in. And if you're at Portland, come say hi. But I will be having my competitor cap on for next week, so we'll see how it goes. Predictions on Portland. How do you think? All right, so you made a prediction on how you thought Speedy Chief would do. How do you think I will do at Portland, knowing that there's roughly 82?
I think you'll top.
You think
so this is
top
assuming 8? This is going to be a top 8. I think you'll top. It'll
be at least top 8.
Yeah. I think going. I think past top 8, it really depends on who's really attending. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just take a guess though. There's a lot of people.
It's kind of difficult to say. Okay, well, assuming it's similar people to last year.
Yeah, Shady Equation went. He's really good.
I'd say top 8. Maybe you get like, you come out in the winners bracket, but then drop down from the winners bracket,
like lose twice. Give me a placement. Give me a number. Give me a placement.
I'm saying like 8 to 5 range.
Oh, you don't think I make it past 5? Top 4. You don't think I make top 4? You don't think so?
Just because I reckon there's some really good players there, and
I can't wait to.
I mean, the thing is, you definitely can.
I can't wait.
You definitely can, but I'm not gonna commit to that. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
All right. Again, like there's Rubik's Master making his this season debut, hopefully. Saxon possibly. I mean, the thing is with that is Saxon, he's already qualified, so maybe he's just take it easy.
No, he's trying. He don't take nothing easy, man. He's trying hard.
Didn't he take something easy like the first?
He went to Sacramento. I don't think he took it easy. He was just like sick though. I think he was recovering.
No, I swear he said he made like a random team or something. I can't be able to go back. But
he said he brought a spice team, but it was no spice at all.
Was there none?
It was like a save Y. It was a spice pick. Right, yeah. Okay. I couldn't tell if he was joking or not when he said it was going to be spicy. Yeah. We had it on his podcast. He said he was going to bring a spicy team, but it didn't look spicy to me. I don't know if he was joking or not though, but yeah, maybe it was a Shadow Claw Sandslage instead of a Powder Snow. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some top competition. Also, you know what? I don't know if this is particularly a reason, but it's like with locals being around and people earning points at locals, I feel like it kind of pushes people to go to regionals more because they're like, well, I've already banked a decent amount of points. Yeah. I'm kind of already on the way there. As opposed to like, well, if I'm going to go to this, I kind of have to be first or second.
I know a few locals that did that, like that have done that so far. So.
Yeah, so I think the competition might be pretty decent. So, yeah, 8 to 5, 8 to 5.
I might not even make top, but we'll see.
Obviously, I want you to do better. But...
I mean, I wanted to. I need to get some practice in. But all right, starting with this 5-0 set against Anicor. Anyway, until next time, I'll peace out. But thanks for joining.
So.